Media Group station, live from the Comcast Business Studios. 97.5, The Fanatic. Now, it's time to... Wake up! Kincade and Salciunas is on the air.
Today's talk show for your morning drive.
When you look at the way the NFC played out, it was an almost perfect weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Those are the most beautiful things in the world when you just smile and say, hey, things went in your favor when you didn't have to do anything about it.
Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, it may not be
his one-loss record. But I do love to point out how Sirianni has owned these guys.
right.
And he gets credit for it. A head coach gets credit for their one-loss record, no matter how much the coordinators help to get credit for what they do.
Right, and that's the thing, right? This is why this conversation, I feel like, will be a little bit more interesting than the Jalen Hurts one, because Nick Sirianni, like Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. They've won together, right?
That's all they do.
Nick Sirianni's record is pretty much Jalen Hurts' record. The only difference is there's been some games where Jalen Hurts has been absent because of injury. So, for the most part, Jalen Hurts' record is whatever Nick Sirianni's record, plus a few more wins and losses for Sirianni. But Sirianni, to your point about the coordinators, right? This year and last year, you had Vic Fangio. And when we talk about the defense, we do not mention Nick Sirianni. Like, we don't mention his name at all. We talk about Vic Fangio. And then when it comes to the offense,
We say Vic Fangio's defense,
right, exactly.
which is the truth,
Sure.
but it's also in a slight way disrespectful to the man who oversees it all.
Right. But this sort of goes back to the Jim Schwartz day, where it was Jim Schwartz's defense, but it was Doug Peterson's offense. Whereas with this Eagles team, last year, it was Kellen Moore's offense. Even though Nick Sirianni had a say on things, we mentioned Kellen Moore's name first. In the Brian Johnson season, and now so far this season with Kevin Patullo, we have been looking at Nick Sirianni like, hey, when is this offense going to improve with the two guys that you promoted as offensive coordinator, when clearly Howie Roseman was the one that made some of the other decisions like Kellen Moore and Shane Steichen. So our question, again, the number is 610-632-0975. You can text and you can call in. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough, and what is a fair appreciation for Sirianni? Regardless of what you say, how many times have you heard the, what do you do around here?
Yeah,
when it comes to Sirianni.
Well, that was, and here's where I'll say it too, is that came from I forget, was it Tim McManus's question at a press conference when Nick Sirianni couldn't explain after the 2023 season truly what he was now going to be responsible for.
I'm the head coach. That's basically all he said.
Little did we know it was going to end up in a Super Bowl.
Right.
And it did, because at that point it looked dark. But to me, I absolutely do not give him enough credit for what he's accomplished. And I think that I'm pretty much a supporter of Nick Sirianni. I never wanted him gone.
Right.
I always thought you got to stick behind this guy. But I get it. Like, it's hard because...
But here's the thing, John. I'll ask you. Like, when you say you don't think you give him enough credit, where should you give him more credit for?
I have watched, having done different jobs in media, I have done enough where I've been embedded with teams for a year, where I've been with them day in, day out. I know what a head coach has to, the crap that they have to deal with.
Right.
And stuff that they have to do, even though it wasn't football. I've never been embedded with a football team like that. I say to myself, it's a lot more than we think. It's not just X's and O's being a head coach.
Right. And I think that's what majority of people look at. They culture is a word that we just kind of throw out there, but there is something to it. And Nick Sirianni's built a damn good one.
He's a brilliant administrator of men. Here's what I'll say to you is, he is a great leader of men, which I think Rob Thompson is a great leader of men. Like, great, with a GR, great. But Rob Thompson and the other things that I want my manager to do leaves me wanting so much more. Whereas Nick Sirianni does not. Does not. Well, first off, I think it's a big thing when a head coach has an ego, because they all have egos.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm constantly going to give credit to Vic Fangio. I'm constantly going to give him the room to get things done. And maybe that comes from upstairs, that the directive came from upstairs. But to me, it makes me smile that this guy, he doesn't have an ego where he lets it get in the way.
Connor, do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? And what is a fair appreciation for Sirianni?
It's a tough answer. I don't think I do, only because I was in the camp of get rid of him after 2023. Like, I tried to fire the guy that ended up winning the Super Bowl that season. I don't know that I can then follow that up by saying, yeah, I appreciate him fairly.
You didn't sound stupid, though.
Yeah, and by the way, you can change your, like, look, nobody thought Nick Foles was going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like, ever. Nobody thought that, even when he took over. Nobody thought that.
Wait a minute, though. In the playoffs, many did.
Right.
Thought they'd win. Like, when I say
when he took over, that Raiders game, the Christmas Day, the last game against the season against the Cowboys, like, nobody thought they were going to win the freaking Super Bowl.
I walked out of the building that night with the Raiders game going, that Christmas night Raiders game. Walked out of that building going, that was freaking horrendous.
You can be proven wrong and then have appreciation for it.
And it doesn't make your past opinion wrong. Like,
No.
it's what happened is they changed their tactics.
Yeah.
They changed their performance. So you're not dumb for wanting the guy.
He had
but
gone
I
to a
think,
Super Bowl already.
Yeah, I
So
think wanting
I
the
am
guy
dumb.
wanting the guy fired, was a little tough, a little rough. But I understood the sentiment.
Let me be stupid, John.
So do
I
you
usually do on a daily basis.
Do you believe that you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough with his 54-22 coaching record?
Oh, it's incredible.
Two-time conference champion and Super Bowl champion. You can text in, call in 610-632-0975. John Kincade mentioned Nick Sirianni's record against some of the other top coaches in the NFC, against the beloved and respected coaches in the NFC.
There you go.
Hear those records coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5. Sixers discussion after their loss last night to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Back-to-back losses, second night of a back-to-back. I just saw something during the commercial break. Somebody lost $60,000 yesterday.
Where'd they lose it? Drop in a parking lot? The Wawa at Belmont. A lot of people drop cash there.
60 grand worth?
I don't know.
DraftKings put out a tweet last night at 7:11 p.m. that somebody had just placed 60 grand on the Sixers money line.
Oof.
What in the world was someone thinking?
Plus 300, payout would have been $240,000.
What were they thinking though?
I don't know, Johnny. 60 grand down the drain.
Oh my gosh.
1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, I won 5 on Sixers plus 11 and a half.
Good work by you.
You did. When did you place the wager, Connor?
About 5 p.m. yesterday.
Because you are a closer to game time wagerer.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are too, Andrew, right?
Yeah.
You are wait till. I am not usually a
all the
wait.
information.
So they were all the information.
I call Chauncey and I go,
You
yo,
get all that?
who's
Yeah.
playing?
He's like,
What's
hey, I'm
going
busy.
on?
I'm at the poker table.
All right, so I want you to give me Sirianni's records against some of the top coaches in the NFC. And then I want to get to an early call because I'm curious where it's going to go. But our question for you to start the show today, do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? I'm asking you, the audience. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough, and what is fair appreciation for him?
And we all three do not.
Yeah,
right?
we absolutely don't because we there are times where you give him you don't give him credit for a lot of things.
Like he doesn't get credit enough. Now I think I give him a lot of credit, but I don't give him enough.
Right.
No, because
Now, look, defensively, I think it's totally fair. Like,
No, well,
I really do think it's fair to just give pretty much all the credit to the players in Vic Fangio.
I would agree with you, but I also give the credit to the fact that there's a lot of coaches that don't allow any shine of their team's performance to be shined on anyone else.
Right.
And Nick Sirianni's not one of them. Okay, here's some weird numbers for Sirianni. That they're weird because you can't believe them unless you really hear them. And Dennis Selman did a piece yesterday, a little on his Twitter account. Good Twitter follow if you don't know Dennis with a Z. Nick Sirianni, 18-6 versus the AFC for his career. And by the way, I'm counting all games.
Okay.
All games that he's ever coached. 18-6 versus the AFC, 75%, which is absurd. I mean, that's absurd. In the NFC, though, you think, wow, when the NFC plays a lot more games. He has a 689 winning percentage in the NFC.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah.
He's 9-0 versus the NFC North.
Oh, wow.
That might change.
We'll see.
Well, who knows? I mean, one game there. I mean, we're going to see the next 2 weeks. We're going to get 2 of them. He's 5-0 versus the AFC North. He's 5-0 versus the AFC South. His only loss versus the AFC East is that stupid Jets loss where Jalen threw the interception.
Yeah, yep.
19-0 versus the NFC North, AFC North, and AFC South. Sirianni, 9-0 versus McVay, LaFleur, and Campbell.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But every one of those guys gets more shine than him.
Absolutely.
Distinctly more shine. And by the way, Dan Campbell is exactly what Nick Sirianni is.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell is not designing his offense.
He's just
Dan
accountable.
Campbell's
That's
not
it.
calling his defense. I mean, he's McVay, LaFleur, Campbell. He's 9-0 in those games. That's wild.
Yeah, and look, we've talked about this before. Like the McVay, Shanahan love that they get. It's because of the play calling, right? It's because they're the
right.
masterminds of offenses. But to your point, a guy like Dan Campbell, and I know Bill Colarulo's been on this for a while. Like they are the same person, and Dan Campbell's more reckless to the point where it has hurt the Lions in key moments.
Strategy, give me in a strategy chess match as far as the head coach making calls. This shows Nick Sirianni, he knows how to push the right buttons in game.
Yeah.
And as you brought up a great point that I really never thought of him making up the talking points for today, his clock management. Till the day Andy Reid left town, I bitched and complained about his clock
absolutely.
management. It never seemed to improve.
Right.
There were at least 2 games a year where you'd go, what the hell is he doing? Or he'd either go to halftime with no timeouts, where they could have used a timeout before halftime to try to get a score, or he'd go into halftime where they walked in with three timeouts in their pocket.
Right.
It used to drive me nuts.
Nick Sirianni has not had that issue.
We've
really.
had maybe one time we've ever even mentioned it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's where, to your question, Nick Sirianni doesn't get enough credit.
All right, let's go to Scott in West Philly. Let's talk about Sirianni. What's up, Scott?
Fellas, what's going on?
Hey there, what's going on, buddy?
So you guys are going to get on me, but I'm still not a believer, and I got to see this year play out. And the reason why, and I'll keep it short and keep it clean, in my opinion, he's just a camp counselor. When you're having a bad day, you come and sit on his couch, and he'll FaceTime AJ, and they'll talk about what's going on, and he'll help you with your problems. But no one can still tell you what he actually does here, and that's the difference between him and the other coaches that you guys mentioned.
So let me ask you this, Scott. What do you believe is a fair appreciation for Sirianni? Because I gotta believe you have a little bit of appreciation for a guy that's won the Super Bowl.
And what does he have to prove to you? He's the best coach in the NFC.
Okay, John, and I hear you. So let's let this year play out, and I'll tell you why. The year we went to the Super Bowl, Shane Steichen had to take over, or the year before, Shane Steichen took over, and then the year we went to the Super Bowl, Shane Steichen called plays, and we were great.
Right.
The next year, it was Nick Sirianni's offense, and we bottomed out. Remember, we started 10-1. That could still happen this year. We got a tough road ahead. That's why I say let it play out, because the 2 Super Bowl years, he had no control. The years he has control, there's drama.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. That's not true, though. You're saying something that's not true. He has a ton of control.
The dagger wasn't his call, John. The dagger wasn't his call. That was Kellen Moore's call.
No questions asked. Those hires were good. But you don't understand is that everything being coordinated by a head coach actually does take effort and take coordination. And more importantly, if you talk to, and I don't talk to his players a ton, but if you talk to his players, they sing his praises. They sound nothing like what you say about it.
And thanks for the call, Scott. We appreciate it, man. Like, again,
no, we do. Right.
You could. We're not yelling at, hey, buddy. Like, come on, join us.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it, Nick Sirianni. Prove it.
But he said the dagger wasn't his call. Well, Kellen Moore probably put it in the game plan, but it was Sirianni's decision. Nah, throw the dagger. I mean, it's NFL Films is there.
Exactly.
We have that benefit of knowing that Nick Sirianni was the one that pushed that button.
Absolutely.
But I get where Scott's coming from, because he isn't like those other coaches that you mentioned where it's, Sirianni has his hands on this.
Well, Dan Campbell gets credit. Mike Tomlin gets credit. John Harbaugh gets credit.
That's true.
So they discredit all their accomplishments, too. And those guys are literally lapdogged by the media. They lapdog.
I want to check the text line, because right away, Scott calls in, says, hey, he's just a camp counselor, the Super Bowl winning head coach. And we are saying with you that we also don't appreciate Sirianni enough. But that, man, that was low.
No question.
Counselor. You can text it at 610-632-0975. Coming up next, Sirianni's record will only continue to get better if the defense looks rejuvenated with Jalen Phillips. How desperate were the Eagles for pressure off the edge? We'll tell you next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Tough night in Cleveland. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers fell to the Cavs 132-121 last night on the back end of a back-to-back in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell dropped 46 for the Cavs in the win. The Sixers will now get some much-needed rest. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency officially begins today, and the Phillies have already had a little bit of news. We know that Harrison Bader already declined his mutual option with the team, becoming a free agent. And the Phillies yesterday exercised a $9 million team option on reliever Jose Alvarado, bringing him back. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about the Phil's big-name free agents.
You have teammates that want him back. The manager wants him back. The front office wants him back. The owner wants him back. They all see the value there. And so, yeah, I could see a 5-year deal, $150 million for Kyle Schwarber.
Well, those sweepstakes open up today, so we'll keep an eye out for any news from the Fightins. The NFL's back in action for Week 10 as the Raiders play the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Eagles are back to work as well. Nick Sirianni meets with the media at 12:10 today. Flyers back on the ice tonight in Nashville versus the Predators, an 8 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Pete Prisco of CBS Sports joins us at 8:25. Temple head men's basketball coach Adam Fisher joins us at 8:40. This update's brought to you by Fox One. Fox One's your home to stream live sports from NFL on Fox to Big Noon Saturdays, NASCAR, and more. This week, don't miss the Nittany Lions take on Indiana. Download the Fox One app to stream. Fox One, live sports streaming now. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The goal.
29 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? The guy's record is 54-22, and all three of us here on the show raise our hand and say, no, we don't think that we do.
No, not enough. And that's fair, right? I mean, that's fair. You just say, this is what we're being honest.
Yeah.
We don't give him enough.
Now, I thought it was crazy to say camp counselor, which is what our first caller, Scott from West Philly, said. He's just a camp counselor.
Well, if you talk to his players, they would correct you so fast on that because it's not true. A head coach does much more than that, and Nick Sirianni does much more than that. He's beloved by his players.
So a couple of things. MBD chimes in. It's hard for the average fan to diagnose how much credit he should get because we're not behind the scenes and the team never gives us any information. So Jay King follows up.
That's a good point that he just makes.
And mentions that he's great with clock management. He's a good CEO. He connects with his players. He's just not Shanahan or McVay, designing an offense.
But he beats Shanahan and McVay.
Which is amazing,
so at that
right?
Point,
he beats those guys.
When they're planning during the week, he beats Shanahan and McVay.
Right.
His game plan, his team, his performance beats Shanahan and McVay. By the way, even in years where supposedly Nick Sirianni screws things up, he managed to beat these guys.
Right, which is...
Well, the years where everybody says, "Oh, it was a crappy performance."
Well, 2023 was a crappy performance.
No, it was a crappy 2 months.
Right.
I think the guy that might hurt Nick Sirianni standing the most in this town is Howie Roseman.
Yeah, because he's constantly building the roster.
What do you think? Too much credit, Connor? You mean like he's getting?
He does have a super team, and pretty much has had a super team for years now.
Oh, look, and that's what brings Jalen Hurts down for people, right? The fact that he has all those players.
Okay, if I say to you this though, and here's where I'll push back on that. If the Eagles are the super team that Nick Sirianni supposedly had, why were they underdogs in the Super Bowl?
The underdogs this Monday night.
Why are they underdogs? Whenever I hear this, though, yeah, but the Chiefs go places and they're not as the super team when they were the defending Super Bowl champs and things like that. Like, why do we say super team when you're an underdog in the Super Bowl? You're not a super team.
I don't know that that's true.
Yes,
it's the final two teams in a 32-team league.
So there are two super teams?
Yeah, John. There can be more than one.
You can't have more than one super team.
Yeah, but is saying he has a super team, I think, is way ridiculous, considering last year we were talking about there were people halfway through the season saying how terrible the Eagles were and that it was a bad team, and we had people calling this radio station saying he should be fired last year. So, I mean, I can't buy the whole, well, he has a super team argument because I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's disrespectful to him.
All right, so we'll check our text line here momentarily. Do you believe you, not the city.
Yes.
You. I'm asking you. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? Now, the defense, we've been talking about the acquisition of Jalen Phillips for a while now, and we all think, obviously, great move for the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see how much it helps. It can't hurt.
No.
So Reuben Frank put together an article. Can Eagles finally generate pass pressure with a new-look edge rusher group? Here are some stats from the first 8 games of the Philadelphia Eagles season. There are 15 individual edge rushers league-wide that have more sacks than all of the Eagles' edge rushers combined. The Eagles have more sacks from edge rushers no longer with the team.
Oh, my gosh.
Than still on the team. Of course, to Darius Smith, who retired. The Eagles' 4.5 total sacks from edge rushers are fewest of any team in the NFL this year. Overall, they're 24th in the NFL with a sack on 6% of opposing dropbacks, and until they picked up the 5 sacks against the Giants a week ago, only one of which was by an edge rusher, they had gone a club record 12 straight games with 2 or fewer sacks. It will 100% get better. How much better does it get? We'll see. But it's going to get better. Now you also get Nolan Smith coming back from injury. Brandon Graham will see what he can actually provide in his limited snaps. But bottom line is this move that you made for Jalen Phillips can only help this football team. And again, the most impressive thing is the fact that they are 6-2 with those numbers right there.
There are a lot of people who would have thought they'd be like, I actually thought that 4-0 was going to be the way it would come out.
Sure.
Or 3-1. So 6-2 is about where people who thought it was going to be a great year, and I thought it'd be 12-5.
Yeah, but if I told you those numbers and I didn't say the Eagles, you'd probably think, man, that team's 2-4.
That team is. I would have guessed them as like a 500 team.
Especially if I added in the fact that they have a cornerback 2 battle that's been going on for 8 weeks.
I would have said that is a 500 team.
Yeah.
Those kind of numbers scream mediocre to me.
And they're 6-2 despite all those numbers.
And Nick Sirianni's done that a lot.
Yes, he has.
Like he's had where things didn't look like last year after the Cleveland game, but then you go even later than that. The Jacksonville game, the Carolina game at home. A year they won the Super Bowl, they really weren't a good home team. They won games, but they looked like crap doing it. But they did it. They got it done.
All right, what do we got in the text line, Connor?
All right, we have a check-in here. This texter, Anthony in Medford, says, it seems like people have no clue what head coaches do. All they see are the 2 guys holding the play sheets on Sunday, and Sirianni gets ripped for not being one of them, as if he isn't involved in and has his hand in a million different things throughout the entire practice week and on game day.
Yeah,
He's
look,
wildly underappreciated.
I think he is underappreciated. We all are, bearing our souls here for you guys. Look, there is a reason why the play sheet thing is real. And, oh, by the way, defensively, it's the Vic Fangio show, right? The difference between Sirianni and Doug Peterson, 2 Super Bowl winning head coaches in Philadelphia, it was Jim Schwartz's defense, much like how it is Vic Fangio's defense. But it was Doug Peterson's offense, right? Like, he was the guy that called all the plays. He was the guy that designed a lot of the plays. Nick Sirianni does not do that. And you can say that it's unfair to take that away from him, but honestly, there is some merit to saying, hey, he does not do as much as the next guy. Because let's not lie, act like Sean McVay doesn't have to build a culture and Kyle Shanahan has to build a culture.
And Kyle Shanahan, I can tell you flat out, is not great. He's not a great culture builder as a person.
Sure.
Nick Sirianni's much better. You'd much rather have a beer 1,000,000 times
with Nick Sirianni
than with Kyle Shanahan.
And Nick Sirianni wants to have a beer with you. He goes down the Jersey Shore and he's drinking
and he
with
buys
people.
beer for people.
Which I respect that.
It's amazing.
All right, coming up next, we'll get more text messages. But also, at the end of the show yesterday, we talked a little bit about what was last night's Sixers-Cavs game. We previewed it. And we said if they won without him, the Joel Embiid talk would have been loud. They did not. So now what? I asked social media last night, Johnny, and I have some responses for you.
What did social media say? Can't wait to hear.
It was actually a nice conversation, believe it or not. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
John
Fanatic. So, Johnny, I know how to speak social media. Believe it or not, I don't know technology very well, but I am a millennial, so I know how to speak millennial.
When are you going to learn English?
You do know
Good question.
you are millennial, but I think you are the anti-millennial.
No, I am the anti-millennial,
You are
but
the
I can
anti-millennial.
tap into it.
Because
right?
you are much more like, you have much more baby boomer qualities
Yeah.
than you do millennial. Or I would take you into Gen X. I'll take you into Gen X.
But
and-
I go back and forth. Like, I care about feelings, and sometimes I don't care about feelings. Like, I go back and forth.
you care a lot about people's feelings.
So
You're very kind.
I know how to speak millennial. So yesterday during the show, we talked about Sixers-Cavs. And if the Sixers were to have gone out there and beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know that today would have been a day of, see? Better
Well, it would have been, yeah.
Better without Joel Embiid. And look, we would have had the conversation, right?
Sure.
We would have. So last night.
It would have pained you, but we would have had it.
Yeah, we would have had it. Last night, when the Sixers were getting bludgeoned in the third quarter, I know that they scored 34 points in the fourth quarter, and the Cavs only scored 25. Tell me why. Cavs weren't playing anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Sixers lost 132 to 121, but for the Connor Thomases of the world, at least they covered, right,
Yes,
Connor?
they did, baby. Half-point hook.
So, it's amazing.
Amazing.
So last night, during the fourth quarter, I put out a tweet, and I had to lead with, honest question. Because if I just said, for those of you who have been on the trade Embiid train or think the team is better when he isn't playing, what do you say after a game like that? I would get it, Embiid defender. So I led with honest question from an Embiid defender, and I will read some answers tomorrow morning on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Okay.
And then I asked the question, for those of you who have been on the trade Embiid train or think the team is better when he is not playing, what do you say after a game like tonight? And believe it or not, John, you can still have cordial conversation on social media. It doesn't happen often, but you still can. So I have a couple of responses that I want to read for you. And then in sort of the honor of our Nick Sirianni fair appreciation conversation, you let me know if some of these responses are fair or unfair. I'll start with Pratik, who's one of our great Temple
I like
Owls.
Pratik, yes. What's up, man? Look, we got our Temple gear on today for you, Pratik.
I say there isn't enough knowledge about the overall health of the knee. He doesn't look the same. He isn't moving up and down and left and right very well. He has no effort on the glass, can barely get a jumper over a center. I think the knee is cooked and his play confirms it. So I responded with, what does that have to do with tonight?
I don't think they win that game last night with him.
Oh, that's fair. You could say that.
Like, I didn't watch that game last night and go, boy, if Embiid's in this game, man, they cooked the Cavs or they beat the Cavs.
I got you.
I didn't get that at all.
And I'm not
And
getting there.
I
I want to make that clear.
I think his commentary, though, on Embiid, that's about what I've seen this year.
Right, but what did that have to do with last night's game? For the people that would like to see the Sixers without Joel Embiid or believe they're better without him, that has nothing to do with it.
Because they don't think a hampered Joel Embiid helps. They don't think that Joel Embiid is ever going to be again what people think he is. They have that doubt, that severe doubt.
And that doubt is fair, but I think there are a lot of people that have already determined that it's like, this isn't going to work with him playing on the floor.
Because I think what they're trying to do is they're saying, why are we going down this road of believing or trying to spin a tale that people can believe in when they don't believe it?
I don't think
they're just being honest with you.
Tell any tales. I think we can just watch.
Just watch. We're 8 games in.
Yeah, and see how it plays out.
Because I think that they think they know the answer to the end of the movie. So that's why they don't just want to watch. They don't just want to sit and watch because they think they know exactly what's going to happen with this story.
Well, there's no alternative. You're locked in the theater, so you either watch or you just complain your way through it.
Because of the terrible contract you are, unless somebody would take it.
Now, John responded, and it's not John Kincade.
No.
You can't use tonight as an example, especially when it was his fault that they lost last night. I was the biggest Embiid defender until now, this moment. That effing guy has been in the league way too long to still be making stupid plays like throwing the ball behind his back. F him. That's a big one.
I would tell you this, that the NBA today with Malika Andrews and everything, they literally did agree much more with the people that said the Sixers looked a lot. It's not the way for the Sixers to win the way that they tried to win that game the other night in Chicago. That Joel Embiid having such control of the ball and going back into that plodding, slow, toss it back and forth with Tyrese Maxey. It's like a bad dream. And they were very, like, this isn't what the Sixers are going to want to be.
And
he's got to fit in. He's got to fit in with what they want to be able to do.
Well, and I don't disagree with that. And you know, I've been saying this whole Miami Heat Shaq thing for like 3 years now. But again, the game against Cleveland, or not Cleveland, the previous night against Chicago, if the Bulls score, you can't go on the break.
Yeah, he's got to get back on defense though, which he really has not been doing a great job at. I think is fair. Prelik's, I think a lot of what Prelik said, I would sign off on.
Bagged Concrete checks in.
Is that Sacrete? That's a great company.
Keep doubling down on Embiid. I really would love this team to top out at 35 wins. They're a scumbag organization and deserve misery. And trotting that cowardly fat rear end out as much as possible until his knees wear out is what he, the team, and their fans deserve.
Wow. Well, that's not a Sixers fan then. That tweet is obviously not from a Sixers fan.
I mean,
because nobody would root. No, you'd never root for your team to have. No matter how much you hate one player, you're never rooting for your team to get pantsed ever. You're not a fan.
Now, I think this one is a very fair response from Archie. They're not better without him. They're better when he's not taking stupid shots and playing hero ball.
That's not a bad commentary.
I think that's a fair one.
I think everybody can sign off on that. The fact that he doesn't understand the basics of what is good for the team with his approach to the game at times, especially with the game on the line, to me is frustrating still.
Now, I also wonder.
And the hero ball stuff is real.
I wonder. Now, look, I don't think he took hero ball shots. I think there was one bad shot in the 5 that he took in the fourth quarter. I wonder, will there come a time, now Nick Nurse believes eventually those shots will fall, or will there come a time where they realize, all right, we can't close out with him? And that's going to be something that Joel Embiid is also going to have to come to terms with. Because here's the deal. Like, his shots weren't bad shots. Like, they weren't bad shots. No. They just weren't going in.
He had 1 or 2 that were. But
I think 2 of them were bad.
Okay,
I watched the last sequence. I watched the last sequence again. There were 2 of those shots that I said, if you're being honest, were terrible decisions.
Okay. I thought in the mid-range where he has feasted his entire career.
And people are wondering, though, you can play a half-court offense. You are allowed to have a half-court offense where your 7'2" guy gets actually into the paint and does something and doesn't sit out and chuck threes behind the three-point line.
Unless that's what the Sixers want.
That's an error.
Last night, Trendon Watford was running a .4. He's 6'8". I know he's not 7'2". He's 6'8". He's running a .4. That's what the Sixers did last night. And that's when Joel Embiid was not on the floor. So that might be something that the team wants to do. One more response. I got a bunch of them, and I appreciate everybody that chimed in. Rick said, I am for a trade only if it brings back a defensive-minded, mobile big that can shoot. That's a lot of things that you want.
Where are you going to find that?
He said, I like Bona, but it's a veteran sport, so he needs more time to be fully dependable on assignments and positioning. Otherwise, I'm living and dying by the Embiid. I saw a Dem Bona yesterday. Somebody did respond. I ruined Paul Reed for them.
You ruined Paul Reed for me.
Dem Bona had a moment yesterday. He got the ball in the lane.
Oh, no, here it comes.
He pumped 3 times. He never put it on the ground. He pumped 3 times in the lane. You only have 3 seconds, by the way. And the center just eventually realized he wasn't going to shoot and just swatted it out of his hands, and he turned it over. It's like, yeah, there is still a difference between Joel Embiid and a Dem Bona, even though there are a lot of people that want Embiid off the court or gone.
But the reason why I would like to see them move on from it is because of the stupid contract extension that they signed, which doesn't kick in till next year. You got 3 more years of him, and he's already hobbling around and not looking like he's. What is he going to look like in 2 or 3 years? I understand Dave Dombrowski has called Daryl Morey a few times, seeing if he can get him in his lineup, thinking this is the perfect signing for the Phillies.
Is he a right-handed hitter?
Another old guy.
I don't know what side of the plate.
He's got to be right-handed, right?
I don't know.
He's right-handed,
I throw right and swing left.
He's right-handed, I would believe.
Yeah, you're weird.
You are weird.
Coming up next.
Good job, Connor.
Hear from Tyrese Maxey after last night's loss, because it's actually a really good attitude, which is something they did not have last year. Nick Nurse as well. We'll check the text line on both the Eagles and Sixers at 610-632-0975. Also, we didn't get too deep into the sedative discussion yesterday for the Sixers. I think these last 2 games have been a reminder that there's still time to improve. What is the best way to watch this season? We'll discuss that next here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers look sluggish. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers fell to the Cleveland Cavaliers 132-121 last night on the back end of a road back-to-back. Donovan Mitchell dropped 46 for the Cavs in the win. Sixers now get some much-needed rest. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency officially opens today, and the Phillies have already had a couple points of news. Harrison Bader declined his mutual option with the team, so he will be a free agent. And the Phillies also exercised the $9 million team option on reliever Jose Alvarado. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about some of the Phil's bigger named free agents.
They have to bring back JT because JT, I know he had really his worst year offensively since his rookie year, but the intangibles of him, the way he runs the game, the pitchers love throwing to him. He's also a great leader in that clubhouse.
We'll be watching MLB free agency closely as it continues through the offseason. NFL's back in action for Week 10. Raiders play the Broncos on Thursday Night Football tonight. Eagles are back to work as well. Nick Sirianni meets with the media today at 12:10. Flyers back on the ice tonight in Nashville versus the Predators, an 8 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll talk to Pete Prisco of CBS Sports coming up at 8:25. Coach Adam Fisher of Temple Men's Basketball joins us at 9:40. This update's brought to you by Groundworks, your trained and certified experts for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Frankie on Twitter must have heard us talking about the tweet I put out last night, so he wanted to chime in.
What's up, Frankie?
He said, what about a game like Monday night where Embiid got reinserted into the game with a lead and then the offense fell apart because everything had to be iso ball, hero ball, Embiid-centric for the final 6 minutes? Did you ask the same question then? So I responded. First, before I even say what I responded, we got to stop with he entered the game with the lead and they lost. They were up 19 when he exited.
They
then
blew
were,
the majority of the lead
Yeah.
when he was out.
Yeah.
So
let's
make that clear. No, but his statement's not
No,
false.
I know, but it's just
you have to put
it's
it in
unfair to be like
context.
they
matters.
lost because Embiid, right?
Well, yeah. Watch that.
All right.
I watched the end of that game again yesterday. It was terrible.
The third and half of fourth quarter was not fun either.
No.
So I responded with, since game one, I said that we are seeing the passing of the torch from Embiid's team to the young guards, right? As my witnesses, we literally
You
did
have
a
absolutely been saying that.
whole show on it. But before anyone says they're better without him altogether, I think we need to see more than 8 games. I understand the fatigue, but I am trying to be patient.
I think, again, you and Connor's going to be with you. Ray Dunn will be with you. You guys are going to be, whichever one of you is last out of the room, please turn off the lights.
I might never turn the lights off.
Well, please do.
But
because we care about the 26-27 season and 27-28 and moving forward. Like, this team has got to turn the page at some point, and I think that it's not. I don't want to hear 8 games.
But I think
I watch years
trade
of
him in
Embiid.
November.
No,
we
not-
are where we are. So let's see what we got, and then we evaluate.
I think you can turn the page with him still
That's
being
what. That's
on
what
the
I'm
team
saying.
is what I'm trying.
But
to
if they're not doing that, that's what I mean. Turning the page means until you can deal him. And yes, I am for dealing him. Until you can do that, you then don't run your offense through him. Don't just go to the iso ball crap. I hate it. And it's boring. And the fan base hates it. They hate it. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
All right. Let's just talk about this in reality real
Okay.
quick. And take the contract out of it. Bear with me, John, because I know
Okay.
he's signed to this major extension. There are 29 other teams that, if they were building a roster from scratch, would pick Joel Embiid.
No, I disagree with you.
I don't know if that's true.
No,
With his injury history?
as a backup. Let's say you have Jokic
Oh.
and you can get Embiid at like vet minimum backup. Just
Well, they already
the-
got a good one.
And you
the
can't.
player.
They have
But
Jonas
Connor, you
Valanciunas.
Then they
can't-
take him
Connor,
as a third. He makes every single team in the NBA. That is an undeniable fact. Now, he might not start. He might not play a bunch. But that's what the Sixers are trying to figure out right now. They have a usable player. They have to figure out how to use him.
You can't. You just made an argument that all these teams would want Joel Embiid, not at $65 million. You can't take the contract out of it.
John, I just asked you to not do that
Well,
for the
that-
sake of the argument.
But the thing is, the argument doesn't hold because of that.
Yes, it does. What we're trying to figure out is how does he fit with the team? And the contract is another story for another day. But how can they play with him on the floor and make this work?
Well,
Look,
how
there's
you
going to
can-
be time when Paul George comes back. You're going to have to figure out how that works out as well.
Turning the page means you don't. And again, Andrew makes a great point there. Turning the page doesn't mean trading him today.
Right.
But turning the page means you can't have that be the end of your game. Joel Embiid can't be the focus of your offense. He can't. He plods everything to a halt. The offense, all of a sudden, they become boring and disinteresting.
I largely agree with you. But then you're also on the side of the argument with people that want him out of town right now.
Well, no, I'm on the side of no, it doesn't have to be right now. I want it to be, but I do. I would not want to see another year where they go into the season with Joel Embiid because I don't believe that the healing waters of Lourdes are being brought into that locker room, and all of a sudden he's going to be like he's 28 again.
So here's the deal. As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, BZ Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We're 8 games into the season, right? We have had some really high highs. We've had some conversations like this with Joel Embiid. There are people that would never want to see Joel Embiid in a uniform. Like, you know, if he could get traded today, you would.
If
you
he
would
get
trade
traded
him
today, it'd be
right?
fine.
So yesterday we mentioned it in passing, but you know we had so much going on yesterday that the game against the Bulls, and now you can add this game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, so the conversation still works today. These past 2 games have been the sedative for a lot of Sixers fans that got really, really, really excited when they started 4-0. Now, look, there is a difference
Like
between
our buddies at Unfiltered.
there's a difference between being really, really excited because you're just happy watching quality basketball, which is what we were doing. But then there was also people that are like, all right, now this is the dangerous team in the Eastern Conference.
They were spiking the football in the afternoons. I heard it.
And we just need to kind of slow down our roll because you're still trying to figure out how to get Joel Embiid on the court. Because let's face it, guys, when they started off 4-0, he was still only playing 20 minutes. He's now increased it to 25. They're not going to only play him 20 minutes just because they don't want him on the court. He's still going to play close to 30 minutes a night. They're going to have to eventually bring in Paul George and figure out how to make it work with Paul George as well as Jared McCain. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe were not going to be able to keep up playing 40-plus minutes a night. It's just unfair to ask those players to do that on a nightly basis.
Completely unfair.
And it's going to slow down a little bit more now that McCain's coming back. He's going to have his minutes restrictions. Eventually, Maxey and Edgecombe will be back into the 30s, and you'll have Grimes do his. You'll have Jared McCain play his, and you'll be able to make it work a little bit more. What is the best way to watch this Sixers team this season? I have been trying to say since night one, I'm doing this without expectations. I'll celebrate the highs, and when there's a bad night, we will talk about it. But I'm not sitting here telling you, watch out. They're the sneaky team in the Eastern Conference. Because I think we got a little ahead of ourselves. Some people got a little ahead of themselves after 4 games.
What I said is before the season, and we did an extended thing on it on post-show headlines one day. I just want to be entertained.
Right.
And this team entertaining is not going to be with Joel Embiid being a major focus of the offense or major focus of closing out games. That is not going to be entertaining to me. That's going to be flashbacks of food poisoning for me. We're not talking about 2019, 2018, 2021.
But he's still going to close out games.
He can be part of it.
Right.
He can be part of it, but he can't be the focus.
It's hard to keep on bringing up the D-Wade Shaq thing. Like, Shaq still got his.
Shaq was much healthier.
But Dwayne Wade got his.
Shaq was much healthier.
I understand that, but I'm saying
that's
like,
a big issue.
No, it's the dynamic.
It's Maxey's going to have his night. VJ might have his night. We've seen him do more than anybody expected through 8 games.
Shaq didn't have to play 45, 50 games. Shaq was able to get up and down the court. No, he didn't have the effort.
We're talking about the role in the team, not saying that Joel Embiid is Shaq.
Yeah,
no,
like
but
Joel
what I'm saying is that dynamic.
There are going to be nights now moving forward, the passing of the torch, where other players will have to play hero or other players will have to be the guys that lead the charge to a victory. But there's also going to be matchup-based nights where it's the Joel Embiid night. And that's what Nick Nurse has to figure out when those appropriate nights are.
Are you talking about like Knicks night? Like maybe a Knicks game?
Sure.
You're talking about more games that are a little more, a game that's going to probably be played 95, 94?
Yeah, and he usually has his way with Karl Anthony Towns.
And that kind of stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes absolute sense. And I don't think any even Embiid detractor
you asked me,
would have a problem
We talked
with
about
that.
this off the air, so I'll pull you guys behind the curtain here. Why Embiid played against the Bulls and not against the Cavs? Like, why pick?
That's what I was asking.
And I said, well, look, you have Vucevic, who is a slow, plodding center. That might be best for Embiid right now. And Jared Allen, who is not, may not be best for Joel Embiid right now. Now, I understand people don't want to hear that. Like, they don't want to hear, oh, you're doing what's best for Joel Embiid. But what's best for Joel Embiid could also be what's best for the team. You don't want Jared Allen cooking Joel Embiid all night.
You're not incorrect. That is not an incorrect statement. But it points to the problem.
I got you.
It defines the problem.
No, I totally
Like, you
understand.
literally have to pick your spots when you can use a max contract player who is literally a huge drag right now. As you're trying to figure out, well, we can use him here. He needs tomorrow night off. He's not going to get up the court well. We can only use him in the half-court offense because he's not going to be able to run down the court with the rest of the guys.
I would say he's a huge drag is a bit of an overstatement. Like, what is he averaging right now through however many games? He's played 5 games? I imagine he's averaging something around like 17.
No, I said he's a huge drag to them playing the style of play they want to play. Is what he's not a huge drag. He's a huge drag in the context of he is a drag to what they want to accomplish. The team that Nick Nurse sat on a beach in Wildwood or whatever with his iPad. Yeah. He wasn't dreaming of, man, Joel is the focus of our offense closing out big games.
Right, I'm not saying that, but you can't call him a huge drag and then see what they did in the first quarter against Chicago where they smoked a good team in the Bulls. Like, they can create an offense that works. Nick Nurse just needs to figure it out.
NBA games in the first quarter to the fourth quarter are completely different animals. And every team, too, when people are saying to you about Joel came in and they blew the game. Look, the big lead, yes. The lead was definitely broken into by the Bulls the other night with Embiid sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
But every team, what is the number one thing that any NBA fan says? Every team makes a run.
Yeah.
It happens in every game that a team will have a 15-point lead, 20-point lead. The other team cuts back into it and makes their run because that happens in every NBA.
But I'm just
game.
going to guess the next time Embiid has space mid-range like you saw against Chicago, those shots go in. I just because I've seen it happen a million times.
I just don't understand why I think there might be one of those electric fences around that 3-point line that at some point Nick Nurse can't say, get inside it. Let's get inside it.
I mean, he
at
went
least this
inside
possession
regularly against the Bulls in the fourth quarter, and it didn't work.
And it
He was
didn't
in the
work.
mid-range.
It's got to be more. It's got to be more.
He's not going down there because he's going to get hurt. So you got what you got.
See, this is what you got. Exactly.
Coming up next, I want you to hear from Tyrese Maxey because the attitude was positive after last night's loss. You'll hear from Tyrese Maxey next. We'll check a couple of text messages. Also, as of 5 p.m. today, players can sign with new teams in Major League Baseball. Well, the Phillies already decided to bring someone back yesterday. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We have to help the Kincade family with a dilemma that is happening.
Little dilemma.
And I will tell you about the greatest text message I ever received from my wife, even though I'm happy that I'm not home for it.
Uh-oh.
All right, but first, we got a couple of things. That's not a couple of things we got to get into.
I hate that. I had a broken leg I got that text last month.
When she sent me the text,
Let's hope it's not that.
I literally started laughing to you and said, I just got the best text, but I'm really glad that I'm not home right now. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? Incredible record, but obviously we always point to what Vic Fangio does and Howie Roseman, and it was Kellen Moore's offense last year, and Jalen and Saquon and super team and all this kind of stuff. Do you believe that you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? Our first caller today called him a camp counselor.
Which none of his players would.
And not in an endearing way, by the way.
Yeah, none of his players would say that. So, I mean, to me, it's fine that if people have a perception of their own, I have no idea where it comes from, because his players would tell you, and we have Andrew Pacheco in tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll tell you that not one of his players would ever depict him that way.
And what is the best way to watch the Sixers moving forward after the 4-0 start where we had a lot of fun? It has not been as fun the last couple of games. And the debates about whether or not Joel Embiid should be on the team have run rampant, and it's November 6th.
The thing is, down the line, is that I don't want him gone I want him gone when the best deal can be made.
Right.
And if someone's willing to take on that contract.
I just want to see how it looks.
That's fine.
With also Paul, I got to see it before I start determining what this team is. And I don't even think this team's a championship team.
You'd be nuts
our
if
friends
you did.
on Unfiltered think so.
You'd be nuts if you did.
All right, you can text in at 610-632-0975. What do we got on the text line?
All right, so we have a lot of people checking in on the Sixers conversation that we just started. This texter says that Embiid's offense hasn't been the problem. His defense has. Maxey, Grimes, and others also looked like butt at the end of the Bulls game. Also, if we don't have title expectations this year, why do so many want to move on from Joel now? Give it time, and if he's a liability in February, we go from there.
Well, because I think a lot of people are just tired of it. And I've understood that for years now. Like, that's why people want to move on, because they want to see something different. Like, I got one of the responses that I got to my tweet out that I put out there yesterday was they wanted him traded for a big that can be mobile.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And all this kind of stuff. And,
who's giving you that?
Well, that's the thing. And
it'd be wonderful if you could get that.
You kind of have that in a Dembona, and you see the big difference between Joel Embiid and Bona. Now there's better players that fit what that guy on social media wanted than a Dembona. But still, like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, oh, yeah, get rid of him and get this. Well, who? Who is that?
And more importantly, with that big contract, you have to think about that, too, because of the max slot.
Right.
When you're trying to deal him,
right.
You're going to have to most likely, you're sending him somewhere that somebody obviously thinks that he could be part of them winning something.
Yeah, and you're going to end up picking up another contract of a player that's on the way out.
My only point is we got months and months until we get to the point where trading Joel Embiid is even feasible.
Yeah, but people have been saying it for years and years.
Okay, well, guess what? For the next 2 months, get the hell over it. You're going to watch the basketball team with that player on the floor, and I'm tired of hearing bitching every night rather than just what could.
Because you don't have to focus. You don't have to focus him being such a big part of that team, though. You can watch that. You can watch that, though. Nick Nurse is. I'm saying, I hope Nick Nurse is listening.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be the focal point of the offense.
I'm all
late
for
in
that.
games.
I don't want people to just bitch for the sake of bitching. And let's talk about how maybe this team that has potential can realize it.
Well, the good news is the vibes are still high despite the back-to-back losses. Tyrese Maxey, guy last year, first time we've ever seen him not have a smile on his face, which was depressing.
He looked like Embiid with the slumped shoulders.
Here was Tyrese Maxey last night after the loss.
We still fought. Everybody who's out there on the court still played extremely hard. We got rebounds, we got stops, we ran, we scored, got some steals. We still played extremely hard. You know what I mean? That's what I'm most proud of. Like, today was an easy game that we could have just said, hey, you know what, let's just chalk it. You know what I'm saying? And go out there and lose by 50 or 40, and then, all right, we play again on Saturday. But, we competed. And that's what matters right now. And we didn't come up with a W, but I like the competitive spirit of our team today. No matter if you have a back-to-back or what, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. It's hard to win this league, so you got to take advantage of those type of opportunities, you know what I mean? And we did not take advantage of that opportunity, but it's a learning experience. This is game 8. It's a game 8. Have a lot more to go. This trip was all right. You know what I'm saying? We should have been better, but it's okay. It was our first little road trip, I think, on the year. Let's go get home and try to get these next 2 games.
I like the attitude.
But I don't like that one answer at the end. No, this trip wasn't all right. No. Trip wasn't all right. No, I mean, I understand his message, and I think it's great. It's Game 8, and I do appreciate the fact that he said they competed because they really did. They had. I got in the car because I was at a meeting, and Tom McGinnis was very fired up when I get in the car.
Yeah.
And I think that the basket that I hit is they tie it at 72. I think it was tied at 72.
Oubre.
And Tom McGinnis was going nuts, and it's sounding great. And then
they put it out.
And then I listen, and it was like a 9-0 run as I'm driving home. By the time I turn off the car, Cleveland goes on a 9-0 run.
Yeah, and then in the fourth quarter, they took their foot off the gas pedal totally.
I do what Tyrese said is right. I admire they did show fight.
Yeah.
They did show fight, and they showed effort. And effort is really all you would ever, or me, or any fan should ever demand.
Absolutely. Jose Alvarado's back, Johnny.
Oh, boy.
The Phillies picked up the $9 million option, and that means the lefty, the fireballer from the left side is back. Hopefully he does not do any PEDs this offseason. So, look.
I can't believe it.
I understand the reasoning. There may not be a better left-handed arm on the market if you were to have not picked up his option. And maybe they read the tea leaves because there was talk about bringing him back on a new deal for less money. Maybe there were teams that were saying, go ahead, opt out.
We're going to do it.
Yeah, go ahead, opt out.
I guarantee you there would have been.
So that's probably the reason why. Look, I will never forgive Jose Alvarado.
He
Never.
cost this team. Imagine if they had him in that Dodgers series.
Yeah.
Do you think I'll tell you this. I would almost guarantee they get to a Game 5.
Yes, I agree with you. Because he's pitching, not Strom.
A Game 5, you would have had a Game 5 in that series, and that's it's unforgivable.
Which
what
is
he did
why going back to the ovation when he returned,
ovation.
I questioned it. You as a fan, but I questioned it because he is a guy that impacted the team. Now we later found out. Remember, we did a show the next day. And we found out that people had no idea that he was ineligible for the playoffs.
Right. They didn't realize. They thought he was coming back and going to be a big part of the team.
Right. And I think that was a moment for a lot of people who were like, oh, wait, he's not available for the playoffs? No, he's not available for the playoffs. So the Phillies are bringing back Jose Alvarado. So coming up next, we have another question that we're going to open up to the audience. You can obviously text in about the Nick Sirianni appreciation, whether or not you appreciate him enough. 610-632-0975. What is the best way to watch the Sixers? Because they're not title contenders yet. Who knows? We'll find out. They're going to slow our roll a little bit. But when it comes to an athlete, how quick or slow are you to forgive an athlete? We'll talk about that with Jose Alvarado and maybe some former athletes that have been forgiven or not in Philadelphia. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Let me tell you about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Love it. We got a game tonight. Football is back. Eagles finally back Monday night. Still got to wait. But every Thursday is your chance to hit the jackpot on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge. Because with FanDuel's Thursday touchdown jackpot, you can win a share of $2 million in bonus bets each week. To get in on this Thursday's action, all you have to do is place an anytime touchdown score bet before the game kicks off. So maybe you're going to go with Bowers, the tight end for the Vegas Raiders after his historic game last week. And you think he scores a touchdown, well, then bet it. And if he scores a touchdown, you will win your anytime touchdown bet. However, if he's the first or last touchdown of the game, you'll win your bet plus a share of bonus bets. So just visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. That's FanDuel.com/Fanatic for your chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 plus and present in Pennsylvania. Opt-in, must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as knowledgeable bonus bets that expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Sixers dropped their second straight. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers fell to the Cleveland Cavaliers 132-121 last night on the back end of a back-to-back on the road. Donovan Mitchell, 46 points for the Cavs in the win. He was pretty much unguardable for the Sixers last night, and they'll now get some much-needed rest. They're off till Saturday. Some tired legs, it looks like, to start the year for them. MLB free agency officially begins today, and the Phillies have already had a little bit of news. Harrison Bader declined his mutual option with the team, so he will be in this free agent class. And the Phillies exercised a $9 million team option on reliever Jose Alvarado yesterday, so he'll be back at that dollar amount. But they've got some bigger named free agents that are potentially leaving the team, potentially coming back. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about the potential market for Kyle Schwarber.
You have teammates that want him back. The manager wants him back. The front office wants him back. The owner wants him back. They all see the value there. And so, yeah, I could see a 5-year deal, $150 million for Kyle Schwarber.
We'll be watching that market and free agency as a whole closely. The NFL is back in action for Week 10 as the Raiders play the Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Eagles are back to work as well. Nick Sirianni meets with the media coming up at 12:10 today. And the Flyers are on the ice tonight in Nashville as the Predators welcome them. It's an 8 p.m. puck drop. That game live here on the Fanatic. We're talking to Pete Prisco of CBS Sports at 8:25. Adam Fisher, head men's basketball coach for Temple at 9:40. I'm Connor Thomas for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 the Fanatic.
Kincade Salciunas.
Here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, so and this is another question. Today's one of these days.
You're asking a lot of questions.
I am asking a lot of questions. I hope you all are following along here.
Well, then we're getting a lot of answers from it, so it's
which
all right.
I appreciate.
We're getting a lot of answers there. What is that? Siri, no. Siri, no. Siri, no. No, Siri. What did you say? What did you say that just tipped that off?
Nothing.
You had to say something. So some words are coming, or I said something. Siri, stop. Oh, that now probably just did that for everybody at
boy.
home.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah, thanks. Now we just lost all our listeners.
Now everybody that
you guys don't have any listeners. How quick or slow are you to forgive an athlete?
What
Now-
is the offense?
And that's a big question. So clearly, PED use was not enough for people to hold a grudge about Jose Alvarado. Right away, I saw in our YouTube chat, here's another excuse for the Phillies, which this show has never made excuses for the Well,
Yeah, we don't do that.
maybe one guy has.
Don't you look over here.
Yeah, we do have one guy who sort of.
Saying what? So Jose Alvarado is going to help the bats? Like, no, that's not what we're saying. Jose
Alvarado swings one of those games, period.
Maybe game one,
Yes.
Matt Strahm doesn't throw a 92-mile-per-hour cookie at the top of the zone against Teoscar Hernandez. Maybe Alvarado's 101 up in the
Yes.
zone.
No,
is a
we'll go
strikeout.
possibly because Jose Alvarado has had his share of postseason mishaps as well.
Sure,
But
we
it's
don't know.
another weapon they didn't
Is
have.
he better than
because-
Matt Strahm? Yes or no?
Nobody would put Matt Strahm in a game if Jose Alvarado was available in
Is
that
Jose
situation.
Alvarado better than Matt Strahm?
Matt Strahm's had better numbers
Get
the
the
past
hell
couple
out of here,
years.
dude. Stop.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
You don't like
Stop.
the slow throwers.
Stop.
He's had better numbers.
No manager is making that call, Connor. If
All
both
right.
guys are
When was the last
available,
time
come on
Alvarado was an
now.
All-Star?
Anyways.
I know you don't like Matt Strahm. Let's live in reality.
So, PED use, making a bad play, saying the wrong thing about the city, off the field issues. Society's changed, right? Like a guy like Brett Myers
Yeah, and that's one. That's on my
was
list.
celebrated and quickly forgiven for doing a heinous thing.
Despicable.
But I
and
believe,
Odubel Herrera's an evil guy.
yes, well, society has changed, and
And he-
that's for the better, by the way.
Right, exactly.
That
Well,
is-
yeah, and they're by the way, they're married.
Sure, but
And,
let's just all agree that it's. I'm glad that Odubel Herrera got the heat that he got, that Brett Myers should have gotten. That today, if that happens in any sport, there is more heat thrown toward
Correct.
those players. So that
It's
is
not
a
good-
good change in society.
It's not good behavior otherwise, and into Odubel's credit, he went out of his way to go and get the counseling and do the things,
Sure.
and then they got married,
Now,
created a family.
saying the wrong thing about the city, that's changed. When Alec Boehm says, I bleep and hate it here, now that press conference after the game owned it very well.
It's fantastic.
But let's face it, Johnny, 20, 30 years ago, if somebody said, I bleep and hate this city,
Get your backside out of town.
What?
well, the only one is that like Mike Schmidt when he was talking about the agony of reading about the agony of victory, reading about it the next day in the papers, and then he was ripping the fans, and he came out in the wig.
yes.
He came out in the wig and just had fun with it.
500
But Mike
home
Schmidt,
runs also help.
But Mike Schmidt was the legend.
Right. That also
But
helps.
Mike Schmidt got ridden about that.
Right.
Like Mike Schmidt got ridden.
So
He wasn't popular. Kyle Schwarber is 3 times as popular with the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
As Schmidt. Well, Schmidt used to get just destroyed,
yeah.
which is ridiculous.
What about making a bad play? Like Orion Kerkering. When does he ever get forgiven?
Well,
Have people already forgiven him?
I think people were. Oh, don't be too critical of Orion. Let's be kind and look. He
I don't know.
literally.
I think he at least the moment it happened.
No,
he was not, he was
But
not
no,
getting
I
that.
think the reaction was though I don't want to see a go and egg Mitch Williams' house
Right.
like happened.
Right.
I don't want to see that. But I also don't want to hear let's just put our arms around him and hug him and say you're one of us and we love you for it too. There has to be something in the middle.
Especially when he struggled in moments like that pretty
Correct.
much all season. So I'm curious, like Jose Alvarado is going to be back for the Phillies, and he already got a standing ovation when he returned from his PED suspension, but then obviously was not eligible for the playoffs. And I wonder how many people who stood and applauded Alvarado did not realize that at the time. But when he comes back next year, which he did, they picked up his option. Is all forgiven?
No, he's back though. He's wearing my laundry. So he's back. That has to be like sort of what Connor would say is that.
I'm cheering. I'm supporting him.
He has to be supported.
But I
because
can't help but look at him like, you were the guy that
exactly. He's going to
hurt
be
the team's chances. Last
I'll
year.
root for him because he's wearing the laundry. I will not look at him as, man, this is a guy that I really want. He's not a guy that I really want to root for right now. And they can tell you all about the bracelets and how nice, and he is a sweet guy. He's a nice person.
Yeah.
But what he did screwed over an entire locker room
Right.
and a franchise.
And so, how quick are we to forgive? I'm curious where people fall on that as well. 610-632.
What are his numbers?
Yeah. Give us a text message, Connor.
All right, so we have a check-in here on our earlier conversation about Nick Sirianni. Joe the Cynic says, funny how people love to talk about Thompson and his wins with a huge payroll while underperforming in October, while Sirianni gets ripped continuously with 2 Super Bowl appearances and a win.
And in a salary cap sport where he doesn't get to go in, where Rob Thompson has been handed a top 4 payroll every year he's been manager.
Now I wonder how much
Nick
of that
Sirianni
is how much of that's just football to baseball. Like, is that
could be? We scrutinize every football game for a week.
Literally one loss, and you're going, they're going to not make the playoffs, or they're not going to have the 1 seed, or something like that, because every game matters in football. All right, what's your dilemma with the family?
Cousin Matt wants to ask for our advice, so you can help. Let's see if you can help out, Connor. A boys' weekend this weekend involving golf, probably alcohol, and some nights out, but 3 consecutive nights in Tampa with sports events.
So they're going to all 3.
So they'll play golf in the day, I guess, and then play Friday night, Magic Celtics.
Okay.
Saturday night, Lightning Caps. Sunday, Bucks Patriots. And he says he hates every away team. He doesn't like the away teams. He doesn't like the Celtics, doesn't like the Caps, doesn't like the Patriots. But who does he root for? Going to a game, or does he not root? And then he says, should he also be the wrong game D-head guy that wears Philadelphia stuff to each of the games? Does he risk that? Because we just saw that we were with that.
I don't really care about the clothing thing. I think it's just funny when people do it.
So I told him, look, you got to root against the Celtics Friday night. You got to root for the Magic.
Why?
You got to root against because
Magic are more of a threat.
Really?
Yes.
We hate the Celtics.
Okay.
Wow.
The thing is, if you're talking,
the Magic losing benefits the Sixers more than the Celtics.
Do you think there's any way after 82 games that the Sixers will be better than the Magic?
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Still a chance,
do you think there's a much better chance that after 82 games the Sixers will be better than the Celtics?
Yes. Which is why.
Well, then that's why I want the Celtics knocked down. Because I'm not dreaming that the Sixers are better than the Magic.
I think that's backwards.
That makes no sense.
So I'm rooting for the Magic. You got to root for the Magic.
You're rooting for the tougher team that you could have competition with?
Yeah, because you're not beating them over 82 games. I'll make you whatever wager you want right now that the Magic are better than the Sixers after 82.
Okay,
whatever wager you desire.
No, that's not the wager we're making. We're making the wager that the Magic are better than the Celtics, and I'll take that bet every single day.
And so you'd rather the Celtics win?
I want the Celtics to lose. I want to know the Sixers are ahead of the Celtics. I want to know the logical team that over 82 games the Sixers will be better than. I want to make sure that that's more logical because I just saw them blow a game to them the other night at home.
But I tried this with the Commanders, and I'm the crazy person.
The Commanders is a 17-game season. Lightning Caps. Doesn't really matter.
By the way, I don't think you have to root for anybody.
No, just show up and enjoy the game.
I would just go have fun.
So would you be the wrong game D-head?
I don't know if you're a D-head for doing that. If you were a
Remember
Philly,
we saw it though down in Tampa.
Well, yeah, because you're looking for attention. But like, if you're on the road, I don't know. Like I remember going to the Fenway. My dad and I went to Fenway. I wore a Phillies hat. I wasn't walking around a Phillies jersey and
then that's
look at
fine.
me, but I was wearing a Phillies hat. I'm not a Red Sox fan.
He's got to root for the Patriots Sunday versus the Bucks. We need the Bucks to lose.
Yes, I agree with that.
So there's one that has to happen. That one has to happen.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
But I think you just wear whatever regular clothes and you root for the home team to win so that you have a better experience in the stadium. And
no,
you
I don't give a
trip.
damn. If I'm watching people cry, that's fine.
You're fine with that
Because they're not my friends. I'm not friends with Orlando Magic fans.
We want the Bucks to take a loss.
Yes, that is what we need.
Bucks would be a critical loss. That would be a great one.
By the way, it'll probably be half Bucks fans, half Patriots fans either way, knowing that stadium.
And if they're talking about Drake May now, as the MVP, I'd like to see that calm down a little bit.
By the way, here's the text I got from my wife. I'm getting screamed at this morning.
Oh, no.
Because it isn't Christmas.
7 weeks.
My son woke up pissed off that it's not Christmas.
Have you gotten any Christmas decorations or anything?
No. We've talked about Christmas is a month and a half away. He was upset this morning that it wasn't Christmas.
7 weeks from today. So if you haven't done, I know you haven't done your shopping.
The life of a toddler, man. No.
Is that you or your son there? We'll make sure.
Who?
Come on, 7 weeks because you got Christmas to get ready for. Yeah. I don't want you crying like the week of saying I can't find the gift.
I'll be fine. Straight cash, homie. All right, coming up next, Jalen Phillips, the newest Eagle. How much respect did this move get from the people who did the deep dive analysis in the NFL? They'll make you love it. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about your house. We all know how high those mortgage rates have been, but we're starting to see them go down a little bit, which is a good sign for those of you who are trying to find a new home. For the while now, a lot of you have been staying put, right? Investing into the home that you have, preserving the home that you have, because you're still living there. You want to be comfortable. So if you've been ignoring any cracked bricks, basement floor and concrete cracks, floor and wall gaps, bowed basement walls, cracked chimneys, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. So you're not necessarily feeling comfortable that you have foundation problems, but also these problems lead to irreversible damage that could cause a reduction in your home's value. Groundworks is here to help. So when it is time for you to move, when you go, man, the mortgage rates are finally going down, I can now move to the new house that I've been wanting. And then you get offered something for your house and you're extremely disappointed by the offer because you realize, oh, damn, my house is falling apart. Have Groundworks come out and fix it. Don't wait any longer. Groundworks can come out, inspect the problem, and the team's experts will identify your home's issues at the source. Just visit groundworks.com today and book a free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. Everything they do leading up to the job itself is free. They come out for free. They give you the no-obligation quote for free. They provide you the payment plan for free. It's just the job itself you pay for. Groundworks, there's a reason why they're the trusted local expert. Here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. You can continue to text in or call in at 610-632-0975. We have a lot of things on the table today. Nick Sirianni, do you appreciate him enough? When it comes to the Sixers, how are you watching this season? What is the best way, even if you have to remind yourself to watch this season? Because I think some of us got a little too crazy with, NBA championship expectations after 4 games. But I also think we're a little too crazy after 3 losses to talk about trading this guy, trading that guy, and blowing it up. And then how quickly, or if ever, do do you forgive athletes depending on the charge? And the Jose Alvarado thing, they opted back into the contract. He's back next season. He's a guy that was unavailable for the postseason because of his PED use. And yes, they would have gone to him before some other relievers out of the bullpen. And, I can't forgive him for that. I'm going to cheer him on when he comes into the game in the 8th inning. And there's a guy on, you need to get out of the jam. I'm going to cheer him on.
Yes, because he's wearing our laundry.
Doesn't mean I won't still look at him a certain way like, damn,
Connor,
could really use this.
Revisit that comment you made. You do agree that if Rob Thompson had the choice of going to Alvarado in that situation, he does it 100 times out of 100.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Matt Strom's been the better reliever for the past 2 years.
What does he do in that situation? What would Rob Thompson do, or what would most managers do in baseball?
I can't say definitively he goes Jose Alvarado. So I will not say that.
Okay.
Like, Matt Strom has been a trusted guy in this bullpen. He's been an all-star. Jose Alvarado has not been. His numbers have been better the past 2 years than Jose Alvarado's. Like, it's just, I see the looks. You don't like the guy because he throws 92. I'll tell you what. Right now, Matt Strom's a better reliever than Jose Alvarado. And I'll fight you on that all day.
2 years in a row, Matt Strom's, it's not an arm that wins for you in the postseason.
Neither is Jose Alvarado.
It's a batting practice. We didn't get to see it.
You saw it against the Mets. You saw it against the Astros. You saw it against the Diamondbacks.
And you can't give him just the Astros.
Come on now.
When he was tremendous that entire.
He was tremendous in Braves. He was tremendous. And he was tremendous in Diamondbacks, too.
I'm not saying he stinks. But I'm just saying Matt Strom's been the better reliever.
I can't believe you're going to, though, continue to argue that managers would go to Alvarado every time in that situation.
I'm not saying that. You're saying every time. I'm saying it's not every time.
All right.
Wow.
Jalen Phillips, the grade the Eagles got and the Dolphins got on that trade. So
now, who is this?
It was
grading.
Damn it! Sorry. It was
right.
Seth Walder.
Okay, I don't know who Seth is.
We've mentioned him before.
Okay.
They gave the Dolphins a C+, which I think is extremely low considering, was he really going to re-sign with the Miami Dolphins?
He wasn't. I think it's clear he went because he talked about winning and all those kind of things.
The fact that you got a 3rd-round pick for a guy you know is not going to return, and oh, by the way, your season, you're 2-7. I think that's a ridiculously low grade for them getting a 3rd-round pick. Part of the reason was the fact that they ate money. But they ate money to get a better pick, so I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a low grade. I would have said. I think they did like a B.
Yeah.
There?
Yeah.
Got like a B.
They gave the Eagles an A.
Okay, why?
For the trade. All right, so in the offseason, Eagles look like a team that could weather losing Josh Sweat to free agency and Brandon Graham to retirement. Half a season later, the vibe had shifted. A triceps injury landed Nolan Smith on injured reserve. He hadn't been particularly effective in the 3 games he did play. Zadarius Smith surprisingly retired after 5 games. And Jalix Hunt hasn't taken the step the Eagles hoped with an 8.9% pass rush win rate at edge that ranks 41st out of 49 qualifying position players. Uche has been possibly better than expected as a fill-in, but he's just that, a depth player who can flash now and again. Even though Smith could return from injury soon and Graham is coming out of retirement, the Eagles felt, and with good reason, that adding talent at edge rusher was a priority and made a move for Phillips, a good pass rusher in the final year of his contract. He recorded 8.5 sacks as a rookie and then followed that up with a 7-sack season in 2022, in which he boasted a 23.9% pass rush win rate, which ranked 5th at the position that season. Now,
whoa! I didn't realize that.
Yes,
that's really good.
Yeah, so that season. Now that's before some of the injuries.
No. But
obviously.
But he played in. What did he play? 9? He played 9 games that year or whatever?
No, he played in full that season.
Okay, so he played in full. That's fantastic then.
Now, this year, Phillips generally scores well in run stop win rate, and that has particularly been the case this season.
Okay.
He ranks 11th among all edge rushers in the NFL, and you know that is something that the Eagles value, this setting of the edge. Well, any NFL team should value that, honestly, but the Eagles value it. That's why Andrew DeCecco, who joins us every week, mentions, hey, Nolan Smith might not pop up in the stat sheet, but what he does in the ground game setting the edge is what then allows the linebackers to eat, and that's just something that does not pop up. So Jalen Phillips, maybe he's just Nolan Smith on the other side, and I'm not complaining about that.
Well, the attention that he draws, too, is going to be for the opposing coordinators is going to be great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So they love an A, that means you absolutely love the trade. And so that's a good sign for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? You can text the show at 610-632-0975.
This texter checking in on the Jose Alvarado conversation asks, what's the show's opinion on Lane Johnson when talking about Jose Alvarado?
Yeah, so we have talked about it.
Yes.
Lane Johnson, he himself has said he does not believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
He said it flat out. He owns it, unlike Jose Alvarado.
So I was working. I still remember I was producing Harry and Rob, and it was minutes before our show started. Like, it was like 9:40 in the morning when it came down.
So you remember that?
Oh, yeah, show was easy that day, baby.
Here's the difference. One man owned their discretion and didn't come up with some lame excuse, which, by the way, if you're still going with the talking points that it was a weight loss drug, you are incorrect, because a weight loss drug is available and is okay. If he wanted to do Ozempic, he wanted to do something like that, he is allowed to do those things under the Major League Baseball Players Association, under the care of a doctor. So if he wanted to lose weight, he could have done any of those things legally, and so that is not an option for you to trot out as an excuse for Jose Alvarado.
Look, Lane Johnson, it's still bad.
But he owns it.
He
completely.
owns it.
He never said, tried to tell you, well, I was doing something else.
Hang on. Let's be fair to Jose Alvarado. Lane Johnson, when did he start owning it? When did he start saying, I shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame? Was it years later?
No. The Hall of Fame discussion came later, I think, to John Clark.
Sure.
In a conversation. But he owned it.
Because this is years and years now for Lane Johnson. This is months and months for Jose Alvarado.
No, but he owned it. He never tried to come up with an excuse saying, I didn't do it.
If he comes out this year and he owns up to it, would he be on the same trajectory as Lane Johnson? Because Lane Johnson, I can't imagine, got that news and immediately said, yep, I did it. I'm out of the Hall of Fame. I imagine that came with time of him dealing with his decision.
The Hall of Fame thing is aside from it. He didn't tell you that he was, I was doing something. It was totally innocent what happened here. It was Lane Johnson didn't try to spin some tale that, it was totally innocent. I thought I was doing something good and everything. Look, he's in trouble. And he by the way, addressed his team.
Yeah. Now,
stood up to address his team. He didn't slip out in the middle of the night when he got caught with the suspension. Phillies players didn't see him. He left with his box and got out after a game when none of them knew he was gone.
In 2014, Lane Johnson deserved every bit of heat he got. Because, look, he missed 4 games. That was the second year of Chip when they finished 10-6 and did not make the playoffs. So what if Lane Johnson does not get suspended? Maybe they go 11-5. And they make the playoffs, and who knows what we talk about.
Actually, thank God Lane Johnson got suspended. Getting rid of Chip Kelly. But smart move, Lane. That a babe.
Look, there is, and maybe this is unfair to Jose Alvarado. Lane Johnson is a 2-time Super Bowl winning right tackle, right? Jose Alvarado, you can say, impacted the Phillies enough where they did not win a playoff series.
Whoa. But Lane did this before he was a 2-time Super Bowl champion.
And he deserves every bit of heat that he's got.
And he got tons of heat for it. But again, he didn't come up with some Scooby-Doo. I'm just like an innocent.
I was working here. Trust me. Lane Johnson got his share.
He got destroyed. He got destroyed.
Heat,
All
both
I'm
times.
saying is his story is much more written than Jose Alvarado's. So I don't know it's a totally fair comparison at this juncture.
Okay. We were responding to the text.
No, I know. So was I.
All right, coming up next. At what point does someone become corny?
I think we're seeing it this morning on the show.
We are on cornball watch with one quarterback of an NFC contender. It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Cavs smoked the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers fell to the Cleveland Cavaliers 132-121 last night on the back end of a back-to-back in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell dropped 46 for the Cavs in the win. Sixers will now get some much-needed rest. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency officially begins today, and the Phillies have already had a little bit of news. Harrison Bader declined his mutual option with the team, becoming a free agent. And the Phillies also exercised a $9 million team option on Jose Alvarado. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about the Phil's big-name free agents, including JT Realmuto.
They have to bring back JT because JT, I know he had really his worst year offensively since his rookie year, but the intangibles of him, the way he runs the game, the pitchers love throwing to him. He's also a great leader in that clubhouse.
The NFL is back in action for Week 10 as the Raiders play the Broncos on Thursday night. Eagles are back to work as well. Nick Sirianni will meet with the media coming up at 12:10 today. Flyers back on the ice tonight in Nashville against the Predators. An 8 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. We'll talk to Pete Prisco of CBS Sports coming up at 8:25. Head coach of Temple men's basketball Adam Fisher joins us at 9:40. This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. It's a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all under $35. Don't wait. Find a location at macy'sbackstage.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
875 The Fanatic. Get back to our text here momentarily on all of our topics that we got going on. We got a lot going on the table today, and now we're on Cornball Watch. So I saw an article on ESPN.com this morning from Kevin Seifert, who's been covering the Minnesota Vikings for
He does a really good job.
a long time and is spectacular at it. So yesterday, J.J. McCarthy had his midweek media availability. And there's a video that came out after the Vikings beat the Lions from in the locker room. And J.J. McCarthy's in the background. He's still got the eye black on, right? Like all down the cheeks. And he's nodding his head. He's like, yeah. He looked deranged. And there are some people that think that's like awesome.
That he looked deranged.
I think it's corny. Speaking on Wednesday with reporters, McCarthy was asked about his new game day persona.
Okay.
Look, he's borderline Mac Hollins.
Well, he's always been crazy with the black eye.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to do his eyes up.
He has a name for it. 9, because that's his jersey number.
So it's his personality. Is this?
It's his alter ego. It's like Mr. Unlimited, which is what Russell Wilson did. So if you have alter egos like Russell Wilson, then I already think you're gonna fail.
No. Slow down. This is the town of Weapon X. If you have a dumb alter ego, you're going to fail.
Good point. So
Hall of Fame players, and is there some caliber of it that has to be to do that in your mind? Is there?
Yeah, he did that before he was a Hall of Fame player. Yeah, that's who he always was. So
I understand, but he's a Hall of Fame player. Like, does your play have to match if you're going to have that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like anybody giving themselves their own nickname.
So he calls himself 9. All right. Quote, it really kind of started to show up this year. His alter ego, it really started to show up this year. Mm-hmm. It came out last year, though, during IR. Just never had a full season where you want to be out there so freaking bad, but you can't. It was just this built-up anger that was kind of ready to just explode, and I chose to harness it instead of letting it go into self-destructive kind of way. I kind of love feeding the wolf.
What?
Because my entire life at Michigan. Oh, no, sorry. This is... Oh, yeah, J.J. McCarthy, yeah. My entire life in Michigan, there was a smiley face on my hand. And if you smile and you have fun, you're going to play better and all that, which is true. But I also think there's a lot of power that comes from that built-up anger that you can transmute into your performance. I hate him.
Oh, my gosh.
He is now,
dude.
I will root against J.J. McCarthy.
Talk less. Talk less.
He is now a root against guy for me for the rest of the way.
Like, he's got it all figured out in, 5 NFL starts? 6 NFL. He's got it all figured out. He's creating this whole persona. Now, I like J.J. McCarthy, by the way. I said to you before the year that anything that I thought Brock Purdy could do, J.J. McCarthy could do. So people are like, J.J. McCarthy, what's it going to be? And I'm like, look, I don't think he's going to be, spectacular.
Yeah.
But I think he can do anything that Brock Purdy can do as a quarterback in the NFL. He absolutely could do.
Yeah. Yeah,
come on.
I'm out.
Like, talk less.
He's officially a root against guy for me moving forward.
Yeah, it can't be for me.
Can't be. I'm 9.
I can't make him a root against because of family interests. But
No, you can. No, you can.
You better root against your family with that.
Nah.
No,
only if they're playing the Eagles.
You should. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas coming up in about 10 minutes. But what do we got on the text line, Connor? We've had a lot of stuff to discuss. Nick Sirianni, we started off the show with, talking about whether or not you appreciate him enough. Because, my God, the man just wins 54-22. But I don't think he's somebody that gets top billing, maybe even second billing in the city sometimes. And we're a part of that. Like, the only person that does is Bill Colarulo, right? Like, the only person that goes above and beyond his love for Nick Sirianni. He wrote a damn rap for him, Sirianni Love. Not many people show that same admiration for Nick Sirianni, despite him being 54-22, a two-time NFC champion, and, of course, a Super Bowl champion, and the team is now 6-2 this year. There's so much love nationally for other coaches like a McVay, a Shanahan, LaFleur, and to your point, the numbers that you gave earlier, he beats all those guys.
I mean, it's what do you want? 9-0 versus McVay, LaFleur, and Campbell.
And those three guys get talked about all the time.
Correct. I mean, does anything else have to be said? I mean, that's domination. That is absolute domination.
And our first caller today, Eagles fan, called Nick Sirianni a camp counselor. So what do we got on the text line with our Nick Sirianni discussion, our Sixers discussion? How are you watching them moving forward, even if you have to remind yourself that? Because I think a lot of people have gone crazy through 8 games already. What do we got?
All right, Terrell in Philly says, I do feel like we appreciate Nick Sirianni enough. We all have eyes and see flaws in certain areas and games. He makes mistakes as well, like he and Brian Johnson designing an awful offense. I appreciate him for the wins that he gives, but I'm not going to be Bill and create a Nick Sirianni mixtape while he's an active coach.
And I think that's fair. But Bill wasn't wrong last year, right?
No, Bill wasn't wrong.
They won the Super Bowl. Like, he never wavered from that. Like, he has a love for Nick Sirianni. Part of it's because they eat Sunday dinners together. But
Correct.
Like, other than that, I mean, he always saw something in Nick Sirianni being a great head coach. He
and
absolutely did.
I give Bill all the credit in the world for that.
But I also don't blame somebody that says, yeah, I like him. I'll give some credit to Vic Fangio. I'll give credit to whoever the offensive coordinator is because Nick Sirianni doesn't call plays. I'll give credit to Saquon Barkley jumping over players backwards like he did last year. But Sirianni does oversee all of it, and I don't think people give him that much respect for it. What else we got?
On the Joel Embiid conversation, this texter says Embiid's problem is he hears the outside noise. I believe he's trying to prove he's still that guy. It's always been about his stats. He's been the same guy for 12 years, so why would we expect anything different?
I've been corrected on this because I used to sound like that guy, and people who know the Sixers much more, our boy Bob Cooney, and others would be like no, he's not. He may have at one time embodied some of those things, but he hasn't embodied it as he's become more of a leader for the franchise. So I think that's a little unfair, but I understand where somebody comes up with it.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's fatigue. There's fatigue.
It's terrible fatigue. It's terrible fatigue.
Yeah.
Like it's that chronic fatigue syndrome. It's bad. People suffer from that.
What else we got?
All right, so this texter checks in and brings up the Lane Johnson conversation that we were having in comparison to Jose Alvarado. It says Lane Johnson was suspended twice for PED use, 4 games in 2014 and 10 games in 2016. He didn't talk about the Hall of Fame stuff until 2019 after they won their first Super Bowl. You guys are way too critical of Alvarado when we're not even a year removed from it.
He didn't.
Well, that's part of the reason why, by the way. Because
and
we're not a
again,
year
take the
removed.
Hall of Fame stuff out of it. That is not the point. The point is the man did not come up with a Scooby-Doo excuse to blame other people for what happened to him. He owned it, and he owned it to his teammates. And by the way, Jose packed a box and left the locker room without saying didn't address his teammates.
Okay, Lane did it twice.
Okay,
Lane did not hide, Connor. He didn't do that.
Lane did PEDs twice.
I understand he did, and he owned it, and he stood in front of his teammates, and he took the heat publicly. He was crushed in this town.
Yes, and
he was crushed for it.
I was here at the Fanatic in both 14 and 16, and trust me,
he was crushed.
People on the radio, callers, everybody was crushing Lane Johnson. This year, when Jose Alvarado returned, to me, the vitriol toward Jose Alvarado does not go away until the Phillies are either the World Series champions or eliminated from the playoffs. And they were eliminated from the playoffs, and you could make the case that there were moments where Jose Alvarado would have been an important factor to the Phillies. I still believe, because we had people texting and calling the day after the ovation, there were people that did not realize that he was ineligible for the playoffs.
And that's understandable if they made that mistake and that's why you're cheering. There's nobody cheering. And I can tell you, there were players in that clubhouse. They were like, he slipped out in the middle of the night.
Now, Lane Johnson, again, this might be unfair to Jose Alvarado, but it is what it is. Lane Johnson is now a 2-time Super Bowl champion and has been a big factor in both of those Super Bowls, right? The ability that he has, we know the record with him on the field and off the field. Jose Alvarado, the season in which he was suspended in, just ended a month ago for the Phillies.
And Jose Alvarado doesn't have that many moments of being the reason that the Phillies win, unlike Lane Johnson, who has a myriad of the Eagles win because of him.
Yeah, Lane Johnson is forgiven because time has gone by.
And Lane Johnson has flat out said, I got some quotes for you. Incredible selfishness that I displayed with my decisions. By the way, this is after the second time. Major selfishness that he owned this. He didn't come up with something trying to say, oh, no, I was just trying to lose weight, which is a false narrative in Major League Baseball. All it takes is 2 seconds for somebody to be able to research and go, no, if you want to take Ozempic, you want to do anything, you can do it. Some players have tried to do that in international ball where there's drug testing, and athletes have tried to take an Ozempic or whatever because it also masks other things that you might be doing.
I'll just tell you right now, I'd rather have a player make a mistake and then not, admittedly apologize for it than make the same exact mistake twice and hurt the team even more a second time. That's just me.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just Jose Alvarado's time of forgiveness is not necessarily come yet.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
I can't
the Lane
take somebody
Johnson
not
thing.
owning up.
I
can't. If you don't own up, to it. You hide. You run out in the middle of the night. You don't address your teammates. You do something to screw up Kincade Salciunas. One of us does something that brings scandal to this show or does something like that, and then the person just runs to the parking lot, gets in their car, and goes home and doesn't address you guys. If it was me, if it was Andrew, whatever, that I have no respect for that. None. As a man, you are responsible for what you do. Own it.
Now,
don't hide out in the middle of the night and run and hide.
And we're going to root for Jose Alvarado because he's a member of the Phillies. It's just I wonder how long it takes for somebody to forgive a player. Now, when somebody says, "Oh, you guys are being too harsh on him," tell me how. Forget Lane Johnson for a second. It's all of a sudden it's all about Lane Johnson. How is somebody too harsh on Jose Alvarado for being upset that he was not eligible for the postseason when you know he would have been one of the first arms in high leverage situations? Right?
He would have been. No, he would have been.
Did you like what you saw at a Kirkering? Because I didn't. All right, coming up next, today's headlines with Connor Thomas. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia is a sport.
Big 5 Spirit Day today,
wait.
Johnny.
What do we have coming in here?
Which is why you and I are
man.
wearing our Temple gear.
In the house.
Which I'm sure is really
Quaker.
appreciated
Hooter.
by some of our other friends here. We got them all here, man. We got Hooter. Hooter's my best friend. Thank you,
geez, the
Hooter.
Nova-
I
mascots are in
appreciate
there
Hooter.
right now.
Oh, we got
what
all
is the
6.
Nova Kitty? Is this the Nova Kitty?
It's Will D. Cat.
Will D. Cat.
Come on, man. You don't know Will D. Cat?
Hey, Will D. Cat. I said, look, I like Hooter.
I mean, Hooter's
Hooter.
our favorite, obviously.
Hooter, you are our guy. Although now we're getting pens are being taken.
Oh, what? You're
Now,
signing
look, the
signing
dragon.
autographs?
Look, the dragon is always cool.
Oh, it's Mario the Dragon, man.
Dragon's cool.
Yeah, my sister is a Drexel Dragon, so I
didn't realize
have
that.
a little appreciation.
Now you have a Quaker
for the
behind
Drexel
you.
Dragons.
You don't look like you'd be a Quaker.
No, I don't think so.
You don't
but
look
I
like you'd be a
I respect
Quaker.
the Quakers. So
Could
yeah,
you have gotten into Penn, maybe?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I barely got into Temple.
What about an explorer? Could you be a bit of an explorer? You like going out and exploring?
Yes, I am.
The explorer might be more your speed. We're just not being nice to Wild D-Cat.
Yeah, no.
No,
It's
you gotta
okay.
beat you up.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean,
honestly,
he
Wild
could,
D-Cat
potentially.
looks like the
Look,
mascot.
Cat, you got permission. Take a swing.
One thing we have in common with Will D-Cat is the fact that goes to a Delco school. So us being Delco guys,
I would say out of the 6 mascots, Will D. Cat wins the fight.
I agree with you. Hooter kicks ass.
Bro, now you're
No,
fighting
but Hooter's got the
Salciunas.
he's got the beak. It's gonna be hard to swing the hands. You know what I mean? Whereas
Swing the wings, you mean?
Will D. Cat's got a little bit of a bigger reach. You know
Oh,
what
now
I'm
they're
saying?
fighting in there.
He
Hang
does.
on.
Well, now that Will DeCat has his marches open,
Yeah.
a lot of
So
now he
it's-
can really work out.
It's Big 5 Spirit Day. They have the Big 5 Classic coming up soon. And I went to the first ever Big 5 Classic. It was so much fun. You can go to big5classic.com for tickets. Tickets start at just $30. Such a cool event. I went there with my father. It was actually on his birthday, the first ever Big 5 Classic at the Wells Fargo Center, now Xfinity Mobile Arena. And it was really cool, just seeing all the different schools, seeing the pride from all the different schools as well.
I watched that. I was still sick at the time. I watched that whole day.
Yeah, dude,
It
it's
was
awesome. It's just sitting back and watching basketball. Even if you don't have a specific rooting interest, obviously I rooted for the Temple Owls, and they made it to the championship game that year, and unfortunately lost to St. Joe's. But if you're just prideful of Philadelphia, like the Big 5 and the City 6, because you got Drexel
Sure.
in there as well, it's still a really cool experience, and seeing all those teams together was a lot of fun. So check
Absolutely
it out,
awesome.
big5classic.com. We'll speak to the general manager of the Xfinity Mobile Arena coming up in a little bit, Mike Solkis.
The
But
Exmo.
it is time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Maybe a mascot has beat you up at work for calling them a lunatic. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We had a special milestone in the NHL last night, boys. Alexander Ovechkin became the first player to ever reach the 900-goal mark in his professional career.
That doesn't sound real.
No, it doesn't.
It sounds like a fake number, and
It's
he may not even
unbelievable.
get the puck to prove it because
What?
Jordan Binnington, who was in net, decided that he was going to hang on to that thing.
After the goal is scored, he's got the puck. Watch what he does with the puck. He's going to keep it in his pants. I don't know if he wants to sell it on the open market or not, but they're not going to get that puck from Binnington.
He just tucked it away into the back of his hockey
Was
pants
that
and
just a
moved on.
joke, or did he really not give it to him?
I imagine the puck got back
Okay.
to Ovechkin.
I would
at some
imagine it got
point.
back to him, but I respect it. Who was it a few years ago? Albert Pujols was pitching. It was just one of the, he was on the Angels. They were getting blown. No, maybe he was back with the Cardinals. Whatever. They were getting blown out, and Albert Pujols went in to pitch. And whoever got a hit off of Pujols immediately asked for the ball.
Because,
it's like,
you're going
I
to hit
gotta-
off of Albert Pujols.
Now, this guy gave up a goal. I'd still celebrate it.
900th goal. That's crazy, man.
That's a big mark for him.
I think we talked about this when Ovechkin broke Gretzky's record. Would you want to be the goaltender that allowed it?
I'd be fine with that. It's one goal of 800 and some to be forever a part of.
Yeah, you could say I wasn't the first 800 plus
come on now.
that were given
Now,
up.
if you give it up, did you give up 50 goals to Ovechkin?
Right,
60 goals? Then I'd have a problem with it. Being the one that you gave it up, no problem at all.
Like, think about when John Lieber gave up that home run to Barry Bonds that hit the third deck at Citizens Bank Park. Does part of him wish, that'd be cool if I had that ball?
I guess so. Home runs feel a little bit different for me. But
Like it's a loser.
but it was Barry,
Yes,
but it was Barry
that's your
Bonds,
pitcher
you know?
talking.
yeah, exactly. But I'd be cool with being
We got to
the guy
ask
giving up
Ricky that
900.
question.
Yes, we will.
Got to ask Ricky that
Well, he's
question.
not a big Bonds fan, so maybe it'll be
Exactly.
somebody else's.
Yeah, use somebody else.
What else we got?
Some people had some questions for Giannis because Giannis Antetokounmpo showed up to some media availability with a black eye, and he was asked, "Yo, what the world's going on? You getting getting in fights out in regular day people land?" So here's what happened according to Giannis. You guys tell me if you buy the story that he spins.
While I was checking out my grocery, there was this guy that was about to snatch a purse from a lady. So I was like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? Stop." So I went and grabbed him, and he kind of turned and elbowed me in the eye. But then I grabbed him, put him on the floor, took the purse, gave it to the lady. And then the lady was safe. I paid for her groceries too because she was in shock and stuff. The police came and took the guy, I don't know, took him into custody. So after that, I just went back home, did some treatment, and took a nap.
No.
There's no way.
No,
There's
because
no
first
way.
off, how is somebody, can you explain to me, how tall is Giannis?
Yeah, he's 6'11",
Exactly.
I think.
So to elbow him in the eye, you'd have to be at least 6'7", 6'8"?
Yeah, I would think so.
So the thief would have to be at least 6'8".
He is 6'11", 242 pounds.
Maybe 6'9". So it would have to be another NBA player that was trying to steal the woman's. But I think he was just having fun.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. Also, in today's day and age, that video would have been posted
Oh,
6
yes, you kidding
billion
me?
times already. Giannis dropping some guy for trying to steal from an old lady.
Or also, if you try and steal a purse and you turn around and Giannis is there, you're not wresling with the guy.
Yeah, no, I would
that's
just
one
drop the
reason.
purse
Yeah.
immediately, and I would pay for the woman's groceries myself.
Yeah, cut your losses and don't deal with the Greek freak. We'll round out with our replay.
Do you believe that you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough?
I don't know that based on the numbers, like just the pure record, he might be, Nick Sirianni, in that zone of impossible to appreciate while he's still coaching. You look at some of the folks that he's up there with in win percentage, and they're some of the all-time greatest coaches in the history of the sport. And it's hard to put somebody in that pantheon before they're actually either much further along in their career or done coaching. I think we're at the point where to give him the proper respect for the record he's put would be almost to put him too lofty for a guy who's still coaching.
Okay.
To me, he's already accomplished enough to be the greatest Eagles coach of all time. And I had said that earlier this year. I think he's already accomplished enough.
And it's tough to appreciate a guy to that level when he's, 6 years in?
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean,
but
he did just start.
his level of consistency is better than Andy Reid's because the consistency of his product is better than Andy produced.
Yeah.
Andy's product was maddening week to week, things like that, which is tough.
By the way, Mopar, you're getting on my freaking nerves today.
What's he doing now?
He's just constantly complaining.
What now? What?
The most recent one, there's a picture of Ovechkin all over the media getting the puck back, shaking my head. I'm sorry that I'm not
We're having fun.
scrolling through the freaking Capitals, social media and Ovechkin's 900th goal media. Oh, dude, like sometimes
Lighten up,
you
Francis?
bust our stones constantly. My God, it's exhausting. All right, coming up next.
This guy's exhausting.
Could be.
No, he is.
Are the Eagles really not a top 5 team in the NFL? Were they really not a top 10 team before the bye week? We talk to our old buddy Pete Prisco next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Guys, if you get a cancer diagnosis in your family, could be a spouse, could be a sibling, could be yourself, the consultants in medical oncology and hematology are who I need you to call. I have literally referred 3 people in the past month and a half to go meet with Dr. Sprandio. Dr. Sprandio Jr. saved my life. His father was the creator of this fantastic practice. And these doctors, these nurses, these staff members, they are the best. They're the best at communication. They're the best with creating an individualized plan for you. And since they're an independent practice, that allows them to work with all kinds of medical facilities and medical providers from around the city. You're not just stuck with one family tree of doctors and nurses that can help you out. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology have 3 great offices. Every single one of them, you find free parking, easy access where the patient can be dropped at the door, walk right in, and get the care that they need. And tell you guys, it matters. When you're a cancer patient, it matters. These people are the best. They're family to me, and I want them to be family to you too, because when you need them most, you need your family. And CMOH.org is where you want to get that first step towards peace of mind. It's the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. Tell them you got the referral from John Kincade.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A bad back-to-back. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers lost to the Cavaliers 132-121, I should say, last night on the back end of an away back-to-back in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell dropped 46 for the Cavs in the win. Sixers have now lost 2 straight. They'll get some much-needed rest. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency officially opens today, and the Phillies have already had a little bit of news. Harrison Bader declined his mutual option with the team, so he's now a free agent. And the Phillies exercised a $9 million team option on reliever Jose Alvarado. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about the Phil's big-name free agents that will be out on the market.
You have teammates that want him back. The manager wants him back. The front office wants him back. The owner wants him back. They all see the value there. And so, yeah, I could see a 5-year deal, $150 million for Kyle Schwarber.
So we'll be watching that closely in MLB free agency. The NFL is back in action for Week 10. Raiders, Broncos tonight on Thursday Night Football. Eagles are back working as well. Nick Sirianni meets with media at 12:10. Flyers are on the ice tonight in Nashville versus the Predators. An 8 p.m. puck drop, and you can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Pete Prisco of CBS Sports joins us coming up next. This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all for under $35. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The goal.
So last year we had a lot of fun when we had Pete Prisco on, Johnny, and I don't even remember what it was about. I don't know if it was about power rankings or about Jalen Hurts rankings, whatever it was.
I always have fun with Pete. He's good.
Pete thinks little of the Eagles at times, and he also thinks little of Jalen Hurts. And if you remember, every single round of the playoffs last year, he predicted whoever the Eagles were playing.
Yes.
Like the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Rams, and maybe the Commanders. I don't remember.
No, I think he picked the Eagles to beat the Commanders.
All right, well, that's
but
good.
We'll ask Pete to clarify that.
So in his most recent power rankings, he has the Eagles 6th, behind the Bucks at number 1, the Bills at 2, Seahawks 3, Rams 4, Patriots 5. Before the most recent power rankings, he had the Eagles at 11. They climbed up 5 spots in a week they did not play. He joins us now on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. Now, Pete, I understand that power rankings can change every single week. We talk about it on the show. We debate them on the show. I get it. But did you really think that they were the 11th best team after their win against the Giants going into the bye?
Well, they lost to the Giants 2 weeks before that.
Yeah, they did.
The Giants are very good, and the reality is there's no dominant teams in this league right now. Now some can emerge, but right now there aren't any, and so each week it's fluid. Look at last week, the top teams, Colts. I mean, they lose. The Lions lose at home. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but it does, and so there's aberration games on schedules, and probably the Giants game, when you look back on it, will be an aberration game for the Eagles. But it did happen. It's
right,
like
it did happen. But, Pete, did you really think, again, you thought at one point that they were not a top 10 team in the entire league. And this, by the way, was after they beat the Giants and the Vikings. So I'm just curious, like the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that won the Super Bowl last year and at one point was 4-0 this year, you thought they weren't a top 10 team?
At the moment, yeah. If I put them there, then I did. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me give you these other numbers, because this is where I question your
doubt.
They
haven't been played. There was a little sequence of games where they weren't very good. Let's be real.
Okay, but what about the team? Well, I mean, you get teams like the Lions that have already lost 3 times. Teams like Nick Sirianni. He's 9-0 versus McVay, LaFleur, and Campbell. And all they do is get bouquets thrown at them, and all Nick Sirianni does is win, no matter what. He has a 750 winning percentage when he goes up against AFC teams, and that includes.
Well, you know why the Eagles are back to being where they are, because they started giving the ball to Barkley again.
Well, I believe that's a big part of it. Believe me, we were whining about that. But the thing is,
I bet you were. I bet you guys were calling for that guy's head.
No, we weren't. We didn't do that. We're not that show. There are people.
The fans were.
There were fans. Honestly, I think that most were not. But no, it's the offensive coordinator that has been the
That's what I'm
call.
talking about.
I mean, it's been terrible. And by the way, that's a Nick Sirianni hire. So that has been something that has certainly.
I didn't mean calling for Sirianni's head. I'm talking about calling for Petula's head.
Oh no, I definitely was. Yeah, I mean it was.
Oh, you weren't calling for him to be fired.
No, but it was terrible. No, what I was saying is, please, somebody take the controls away from him. So, I mean, it was a rough start.
So now there's the second half of the season ahead, Pete, right? And the Eagles are number 1 in the NFC playoff picture as of November 6th, and I know that can change at any moment. I did read your write-up on the Eagles, the acquisition of Jalen Phillips. How much do you think that will benefit the Eagles moving forward, considering the pass rush has been an area where it's been a little weak for the Eagles this season?
Well, when you lose guys in free agency, then your depth has to play, and then you lose the depth. And so that's why I think getting a guy like Phillips changes that. Gives him another guy. Look, he's not an elite edge rusher anymore, I don't think, but he's good. And being good gives you another body on that defensive line to rotate. And what they want to do. They want to rotate a bunch of guys in there. So I think that's a great trade. I think Howie had a great trade deadline. I really do. I think, the third corner's been a major problem. They go address it, get a couple guys. Now how they play it, we'll see. And Alexander, when he's, right, can be really good. So I do think that they addressed the needs on that defense, and they're going to be better. So I like look, Howie wheels and deals, and he gets it done. And everybody around the league looks up and goes, oh, that's just Howie. Well, you know what? He's got 1 foot ahead of everybody else. He's smarter than everybody else, and he does a great job with it. So I do like with the moves they made during the deadline, and I think they're going to be better on defense because of it.
Pete, preview a little bit for us for Monday night. You know, the Eagles going into Green Bay, a team they beat twice last year, a team that's obviously had this game circled on their calendar, may have had something little to do with the way they lost to Carolina last week. How do you look at this matchup coming up with the Pack on Monday night?
Well, the Packers have to be better against stopping the run if they're going to beat the Eagles. We know that. I mean, you know, and again, I go back to get the ball to Barkley, turn and hand him the ball, and he, you know, that makes that whole offense be what it is, and they got away from that. They got away from who they were. Now, whether that's because the receivers were moaning and groaning or why, they did. And I think everything they do is predicated on running the football and getting him the football. So I think they'll do that, and I think you can do that against Green Bay. And then it becomes, look, how do they defend Jordan Love? Because Jordan Love wasn't very good last week, but he's been good this year. I think they got caught in the trap game last week. You beat your former quarterback, you come home, and we've seen it in this league all the time. You look up, and next thing you know, you're in a game, and you can't get out from underneath it. They were looking ahead to this game, and it's an important game. Look, I was there in the summer. I know that they still were griping about the fumble on the opening kickoff. I can tell you that with the 100% from the playoff game. They did, you know, and they were still in that game. So it's a big game for Green Bay, and I think they played that way. Here's the other part of that. They're one of the youngest teams in the league, and when you're one of the youngest teams in the league, you're going to have moments where you look like you're going to beat anybody and everybody, and then you're going to have moments like that, and it's a matter of how the staff and how those players get out of that habit. Because once you do, you'll be a really good team, but until you do, you're going to have those inconsistencies.
Pete Prisco from CBS joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas. So, Pete, last year, I think we can all agree you didn't think too highly of the Philadelphia Eagles, considering some of your playoff predictions. I'm not trying to do a ha-ha, you were wrong. I'm curious, though, considering how it played out last year and what you've seen through 8 games this year, do you think the Eagles are still in that same sort of Super Bowl contender era, or do you think they've taken a step back this year?
No, they're a contender. There's no doubt they're a contender, and they're particularly a contender because the division stinks. So they might end up as the number 1 seed, and they're definitely a contender if there's that. Look, you look at the NFC. Washington's not a contender. That team, the quarterback's hurt and the defense stinks. The Cowboys aren't a contender because the defense is just awful, and the Giants are the Giants. Then you go rest of the NFC. The NFC North has good teams, but you'll know more about them if they go into Green Bay and beat them. Then that sends a message to that entire division. And then out west, in talking to people around the league this week, the name that keeps coming up of team that keep an eye on is Seattle. And Seattle's defensive line is nasty. And they can throw the ball down the field. He's averaging 9.6 yards per attempt down the field. So that's one team with the Rams, obviously, and the Eagles know a lot about the Rams. Those are 2 teams to keep an eye on as well. But if you ask me right now, the Eagles should be the favorite to be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Worst matchup for them if they were the 1 seed and they had to go through 2 teams to get back to a Super Bowl to defend their title. Who were the 2 teams you'd pick to say the Eagles would best try to avoid them to have the easiest path?
Seattle is 1 because of the defense and the big play. And 2 would be look, I don't worry about the Vikings. I know people look at the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy's J.J. McCarthy. We've got to see what he is. Probably, we'll know more Monday night. If the Packers fix their issues, then I think the Packers. Because I think talent-wise, the Packers are there with everybody. It's just a matter of those guys can put it all together.
What about Bucks? Are you?
Oh, yeah, there's another. And here's the other part. The Bucks too. And here's the other part of the Bucks. They haven't been healthy at all. Not one bit. I mean, they played the first 4 games with an offensive line that didn't have anybody in the same spot where they were supposed to start the season. They didn't have Mike Evans. They didn't have, Chris Godwin. They lost Jalen McMillan. He hasn't been around all year. They lose Bucky Irvin, and yet here they are. So yeah, but the Bucks are another one of those teams. I should have mentioned them too. I'm glad you mentioned them.
Now, Pete, just going back to the Packers, because the Eagles play on Monday night, how much of an impact is the loss of Tucker Kraft? Because the way I look at Green Bay, they have talented players, but it's like the receivers are a bunch of guys. Like, they don't have that standout player. So how big of a loss is Tucker Kraft for Green Bay?
It's big, but remember how he got the job. He got the job because Musgrave got hurt, and they like Musgrave. So, look, the way Kraft was playing, it's definitely going to be felt. There's no doubt about it. But I think a big thing for them, and you say the receivers are a bunch of guys, I think the big thing for them is getting Watson back into the lineup. He's a field stretcher.
Right.
The other guys aren't, and that changes how you have to play them. He makes you play back a little more than you would normally do if he's not in the lineup, and I think that's a big part of who they are. And so I think getting him back is, look, it doesn't, it kind of offsets the fact that they lost Kraft because he changes the way they play. They need to get Golden going.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there in the summer in training camp, everybody in the place, and I watched him, they were raving about him, and he got dinged up a little bit and set him back. He needs to get more involved in the offense. And I think getting, Watson going down the field, you can get Golden going underneath, and I think that's the next part of their next evolution of their offense.
Hey, Eagles beat the Pack Monday night. Next week's power rankings, Pete's got them number 1.
Well, that's
right?
if he thinks the Eagles beat the Packers. I believe you have a 30-27 score with Green Bay coming out on top.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Well, you
I
keep
do.
it. At least you're consistent of constantly picking against the Eagles because you are a man who's never afraid to admit that he's wrong, and I like that about you.
No, and you know what? I was wrong last year about the Eagles, and I'll probably be wrong about them again.
Pete, listen,
Love you,
man, we
Pete.
appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you again down the road.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, take care.
There he is, Pete Prisco from
He's a
CBS.
good
A little
sport.
bit more cordial this time around.
He's a good
no,
sport.
He absolutely
no, he loves to argue, though.
Yes, I know.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, he is. I looked it up. He's got his week of
30-27?
Is the Packers winning 30-27. His write-up, the Packers were stunned last week in losing at home to Carolina while the Eagles are coming off of a bye.
I don't
the
find
Packers
that
had to be
crazy.
looking ahead of this game. They played like it. I think they get back on track and play much better. They tend to play better against good teams. Jordan Love wins it with a late touchdown pass. That's what
I don't find it that crazy, that call. I don't find that
I
crazy.
feel good about Monday night. Ooh. Might be a chest day.
Oh, boy.
All right, coming up next, we'll check a couple of our text line. We got a lot of topics going on here. Also, we get to talk a little bit more about the pride in Philadelphia sports history. It's important, and we have a chance to express that soon. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. around a radio office, sports, whatever.
What'd you find?
This is a mini rubber football for Wings to Go, Broad and Vine.
How long ago was that?
I don't know.
By the way, did you hear the
Playing around with it, though.
Did you hear the good day that Quinton Williams had yesterday when he got traded?
What did he have?
His contract is now worth $6.375 million more to take home to him.
Oh, was it a trade kicker or something?
No, he went to Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
No state income tax, cheaper property taxes. He almost got he's going to get like between $6 and $7 million more in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Take home cash.
How about
just
that?
getting out of Jersey and going there. So there he is.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? Before we have some fun talking about the Big Five, what do we got?
So Bobcat from Kennett Square checks in on the Nick Sirianni conversation because we were just talking birds with our guy Pete Prisco, and he asks, is Steichen, Kellen Moore, or Kevin Patullo better than Sean McVay, better than Matt LaFleur, better than Kevin O'Connell? If the answer to those questions is no, and I think it is, then how could they have been the reason the Eagles won and Nick not be?
Well, Steichen is to me it's the combination. It's the teamwork. It's the teamwork of everybody working together.
Here, look, Nick Sirianni does not know how to or cannot call plays well.
He admitted it.
He himself has admitted it. I don't think Shane Steichen is a better offensive mind than Kyle Shanahan. I don't. But Nick Sirianni, the reason why there's this perception of Nick Sirianni and the what do you do around here is because on game day, that is a legitimate question to ask sometimes.
Very fair.
Unfortunately, people take away Monday through Saturday, right? Or in this case, the Eagles play Monday, but the 6 other days of the week when Nick Sirianni is definitely a big part of what this. You don't just get by as a head coach. Right,
no,
like
you can't.
You're part of the process.
Players would absolutely out that in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so today is Big Five Spirit Day today, Johnny. We already had the mascots. Everybody but the Hawk came in here.
Yeah, well, did the Hawk die?
Apparently. We had Mario the Dragon.
Where was the Hawk?
We had the Explorer. We had the Quaker. We had Will DeCat, and, of course, our personal favorite, Johnny, as two great Temple alum.
Yes.
You a member of the Temple Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
We had Hooter that was here. And joining us now in studio, the general manager of the Xfinity Mobile Arena, Mike Sulkus, joins us to talk about the Big Five Classic, which is coming up in the first week of December. Big5Classic.com is where you can buy tickets. They start at just $30. It's a triple header on December 6th. Now, Mike, I went to the first ever one. It was so much fun, and I can only imagine you guys are doing more and more things each year for it.
Yeah, it was that first year especially was incredible, right? You had the Drexel upset over Nova, the buzzer beater with LaSalle over Penn, and then a great championship game between St. Joe's and Temple. That was the day I realized, like, we had something special here, right? You know, the Big Five, it's the 70th birthday, by the way. 1955 is how old the Big Five is. But I think everyone agreed that it needed a shot in the arm, right? Where its standing in the sports world was not where it should have been. And that's why we created this new format with a tournament format ending with the triple header at the big house, at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. And you saw what it created. It's a fantastic event for all the schools, fans, alumni, everybody.
By the way, building's looking great.
Thank you.
I've been down with the building's looking great, and so many interesting options too when people come down to the games too. Some cheap eats, some really good eats, and so it's going to be a fun day because you might want to camp out and watch 3 games.
Yeah, exactly. And
you're not paying 3 tickets for this event.
Yeah, every ticket's for all 3 games. They start at $30, and you know we allow re-entry for this event.
Right,
so,
you can leave.
Wow,
you can leave.
Cool.
Yeah. So it is a long day. It's a lot of games, but I hear people in the city like to tailgate. I look out my window down there, and no matter what the event is, there's tailgaters.
What if I wanted to go play blackjack between games?
That too. It's up to you.
I could walk over and then come back.
Yeah,
See,
you could.
That's a great deal. The re-entry's awesome.
I did not know that you could re-enter. By the way, it's not like my father and I were trying to exit. I remember we got there at the end of the first half for the first game was the Drexel Villanova game that you mentioned. We watched the incredible finish where Drexel.
Hard for Drexel.
Hell yeah, I did. Well, because my sister's an alum, nothing to do with my hatred for Villanova.
Yes.
And then you just sit there and you're watching basketball all day. And I know that I'm a Temple Owl, and John, you're a Temple Owl, so we had a rooting interest for Temple, but it's Philadelphia basketball. And sitting back, there is something special still to this day about Big Five. I know it's very historic, but to your point, you're trying to get it a shot in the arm. So what are the things that you can expect on December 6th other than just 3 days of basketball? All the school pride, I believe, is a big part of it.
Yeah, and listen, we didn't want to get rid of all the traditions, right? College athletics is special for a reason because of how much it means. You guys are sitting here in your Temple gear. It's awesome. It's special, right? And we wanted to keep all those traditions that go back all the days. So you have the student sections behind the baskets. They're going to be doing the streamers, the rollouts. We have all the bands, the cheerleaders. It's March Madness in December, and it's a really exciting atmosphere. So we wanted to kind of take that old school college atmosphere, drop it in our modern venue, and kind of create just an incredible experience, no matter who you are.
The streamers mean so much to me and to people of my generation. Because nowadays, I guess it's a safety issue. They don't let them do it.
Yeah, they don't do it at the Palestra anymore.
But they do them at the Exmo.
Yep.
So it'll be good.
We allow it. And it's worth it. It is so cool. It's an incredible tradition.
So when it comes to the Big Five Classic on December 6th, what is something that you've seen the first 2 years where you're going, all right, we're going to do a little bit different this year for people that have gone the first 2 years or maybe just year one?
Yeah, I think one that we wanted to keep pricing affordable, and that's the number one thing for us. We did it, and when we started talking about this, obviously, college athletics is changing drastically, right? And the business of college athletics is really important. And these teams, they need money to compete, but we wanted to make sure that this event stayed affordable. So we've actually lowered prices.
That's awesome.
From the initial classic, because we want to keep this event accessible while also making it a viable business for these programs, because that's part of the game these days. Unfortunately, it is part of the game that the business is part of it. But I think that is the one change. We wanted to make sure this is a really accessible event for everybody. We want your kids to come, whether alumni, introduce young people to the Big Five and what it means. So I think that's the one big change is we want this event to be as accessible as possible.
And I think that's great, and it's a good way to build fans of individual programs or just the history of Big Five basketball. Listen, man, we really appreciate it, Mike. So much fun. We can't wait. December 6th, big5classic.com. Again, I went the first year, and I had an absolute blast going. It was also on my dad's birthday.
That's even better. Did you make that his gift?
Yes. It was a full day of basketball.
Big Five is family, right? It's all in the family.
It was a really nice day. So, Mike, thank you as always.
Thank you for having me, guys.
It's really cool that you guys actually dropped the tickets for the people of Philadelphia. And $30 for 3 games, right?
That's awesome.
Like, you're getting 3 games.
And the
$10
re-entry,
a game.
too, which is even better.
That's really cool as well.
That's
so,
awesome.
Mike, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Coming up next, is there a lock bet Monday night for the Eagles? Not one that involves anytime touchdowns or big overs for yards. But how about a play? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers struggle in Cleveland. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers lost to the Cavs last night, 132-121. It was the back end of a road back-to-back, so maybe some tired legs for the Sixers. Donovan Mitchell dropped 46 for the Cavs, so he certainly took advantage. Sixers will now get some much-needed rest. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency officially begins today, and the Phillies have already had a little bit of news. Harrison Bader declined his mutual option with the team, becoming a free agent, and the Phillies exercised a $9 million team option on reliever Jose Alvarado yesterday, so he'll be back at that price. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday and talked about some of the Phil's big-name free agents, including JT Realmuto.
They have to bring back JT because JT, I know he had really his worst year offensively since his rookie year, but the intangibles of him, the way he runs the game, the pitchers love throwing to him. He's also a great leader in that clubhouse.
So we'll be keeping a close eye on MLB free agency and some of the Phil's own free agents. The NFL's back in action for Week 10. Raiders-Broncos on Thursday Night Football tonight. Eagles are back to work, and Nick Sirianni will meet with the media at 12:10. Flyers are back on the ice tonight in Nashville versus the Predators. An 8 p.m. puck drop, a game you can hear live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And Adam Fisher, head coach of Temple men's basketball, joins us at 9:40. This update's brought to you by Macy's Backstage. It's a whole department inside your Macy's store where you'll find everything you need for the holidays, all for under $35. Don't wait. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
ESPN Bet and Penn Entertainment ending their sports betting partnership. Signed a 10-year, $2 billion deal in 2023. ESPN Bet will officially shut down next month. That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's a lot of different companies to go through. And so that's
there
what,
is. It just wasn't working.
Makes it difficult. So we have some people chiming in about Pete Prisco on our YouTube channel.
Text line, too.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
Well,
that's
what's
fine.
the text line say? Because this is more humorous than reaction. So what is the text
not
line
nice.
saying?
No, it's all right. Pete, believe me that Pete can take it. He's a freaking Brooklyn guy. He can take it.
He spun.
He is not. He does have no
I
problem.
will say he spun out of me saying, "Do you really think they're the 11th best team in football?" But what were they saying on the text line?
All right, so Joe from Boston checked in and said, wow, Pete really going out on a limb there, predicting the Packers to win 30-27 when the Packers are favored by 2.5. So,
Well, I mean, look, he's making his prediction. Now, he's making his prediction. His prediction's his prediction, regardless of what the line is. But, yeah, I mean, look, Pete has a certain opinion about the Eagles, and it literally carried all the way to the Super Bowl last year. And he was proven wrong 3 out of the 4 games.
And it kept 3 out of the 4.
Because he did pick the Eagles to beat the Commanders. But first off, somebody said MBD believes that Pete Prisco looks like Ray Dunn's uncle. I don't know how
he doesn't look.
I don't know how Ray feels
Pete
about that.
Pete doesn't look anything like Ray Dunn. Pete keeps himself in shape. He likes going to the gym.
What are you saying about Ray?
No. He's a stocky guy that likes to be like a fire hydrant. Ray Dunn is limbery. Ray Dunn is very spindly. He's not like, they don't look anything like each other. Not at all.
MBD also says Prisco probably doesn't like condiments. I could see that. I could see Pete Prisco not being a condiment guy.
Anti-ketchup?
Yeah, I could see it. I could see him being a dry food guy.
Well, is it a bad thing if you're like an anti-dipper?
No, I'm just saying like dry food, like, you know.
Because I'm not a big dipper.
Like he might just be a grilled chicken, period. No seasoning.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Why don't you ask him? You got his number.
That's not good. I'll ask him.
Real quick, you have a bet for Monday night's game that it's got to be a lock.
You think so?
It has to be.
Well, I mean, look, the over-under is 1.5 tush pushes, and you can get this at various casinos in Vegas. Come on.
It's got to be a lock.
It's got to be a lock to be over, right?
What is the number on that? What's the payout?
It's a over-under. If you bet the over is minus. Oh, let me hear. Over's. Oh yeah, that's not as good. Over is minus 145.
All right.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. But that's a lot because it's a lot.
But it's a bet, right?
Yeah.
Because look, it doesn't even matter that it's the Packers.
But do you believe
right?
that
The Eagles might run 2 tush pushes against any team in the world, but there might be a little bit more to it for Green Bay.
You think they're going to? I think they're going to go out of their way to make sure that they do one. But I would tell you this. I would look for it as I believe they will, if they line up for the tush push.
One of the fakes?
There will absolutely be one of the fake plays. Absolutely. I would make that bet.
Does that
Eagles
count?
Line, no, it does
Is
not.
it based
By the
on
way,
formation,
it does not. It does not.
It's the
Unless
actual
they
tush
execute
push.
a tush push, it does not. So if they do a fake play out of that and they throw it out to, my call is this. All right? There is going to be a tush push, and there is going to be a pass attempt to Dallas Goedert.
A little bit of both.
In the same, they're going to line up for a tush push, and it's going to be a pass play to Dallas Goedert.
All right. And then can Dallas Goedert stiff arm the same cornerback 4 times?
See, now that would be fun. I like that very much.
If that guy's still on the team.
Yeah, well, I don't
Yeah,
remember who it was.
that'd be fun though.
I just remember Dallas Goedert just
there it is.
manhandling a human being.
I absolutely think that
I think it's a lock.
Nick Sirianni would enjoy sticking it to LaFleur.
Yeah, I think it's a lock.
LaFleur.
All right, listen to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia. A. Beasley, Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
Time now for the Kincade Salciunas Re-Rack.
Do you believe that you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? Now, this one's a little bit different because Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, right? Jalen Hurts is the guy that's on the field, taking the snap, and then is making the decisions that will either help the team win or hurt the team win. Nick Sirianni is a guy where, yeah, he makes decisions in game about whether or not they should throw the football, pass the football, but he's not calling the plays. He's the guy that makes the decisions about whether or not you want to go for it on 4th down. He's the guy that makes the decisions about clock management, which we have talked about numerous times on the show. He's spectacular at clock management. There's really been a very small handful of times where we think he sort of messed up the clock a little bit. Nick Sirianni,
he's flawless.
Nick Sirianni is 54-22 in his career as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. 9-8 that first season, 14-3, 11-6 despite the collapse, 14-3 winning the Super Bowl, and now 6-2 to start the season as the defending Super Bowl champions. But I wonder, John, what is a fair appreciation for Nick Sirianni?
Well, I'll bare my soul the way you did. I absolutely do not appreciate Nick Sirianni enough, because what I find myself falling into is the trap of it doesn't, where other coaches get complete credit for the win-loss record.
Right.
He never does. If you go anywhere else, we're going to see it on Monday. Matt LaFleur, what a great job he's done as the Packers coach.
Yes.
When in reality, Nick Sirianni has kicked his backside and accomplished much more because he's already been to 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
But you're going to hear them wax poetic, and it's funny because the man who waxes his eyebrows so often, LaFleur, they're almost coming off. He's the guy that they will gush over Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
They gush over Sean McVay, a guy who Nick Sirianni also owns. These guys get credit for their one-loss record, and I fall into it too, so I'm guilty. I don't give him enough credit for his one-loss record, but I do love to point out how Sirianni has owned these guys.
Right.
And he gets credit for it. A head coach gets credit for their one-loss record, no matter how much the coordinators help to get credit for what they do.
Right, and that's the thing, right? This is why this conversation, I feel like, will be a little bit more interesting than the Jalen Hurts one, because Nick Sirianni, like Jalen Hurts, all he does is win. They've won together, right?
That's all they do.
Nick Sirianni's record is pretty much Jalen Hurts' record. The only difference is there's been some games where Jalen Hurts has been absent because of injury. So, for the most part, Jalen Hurts' record is whatever Nick Sirianni's record, plus a few more wins and losses for Sirianni. But Sirianni, to your point about the coordinators, right? This year and last year, you have Vic Fangio. And when we talk about the defense, we do not mention Nick Sirianni. We don't mention his name at all. We talk about Vic Fangio. And then when it comes to the offense,
We say Vic Fangio's defense.
Right, exactly.
Which is the truth.
Sure.
But it's also, in a slight way, disrespectful to the man who oversees it all.
Right. But this sort of goes back to the Jim Schwartz day, where it was Jim Schwartz's defense, but it was Doug Peterson's offense. Whereas with this Eagles team, last year, it was Kellen Moore's offense. Even though Nick Sirianni had a say on things, we mentioned Kellen Moore's name first. In the Brian Johnson season, and now so far this season with Kevin Patullo, we have been looking at Nick Sirianni like, hey, when is this offense going to improve with the 2 guys that you promoted as offensive coordinator, when clearly Howie Roseman was the one that made some of the other decisions like Kellen Moore and Shane Steichen. So our question, again, the number is 610-632-0975. You can text and you can call in. Do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough, and what is a fair appreciation for Sirianni? Regardless of what you say, how many times have you heard the, what do you do around here?
Yeah,
when it comes to Sirianni.
Well, that was, and here's where I'll say it too, is that came from I forget, was it Tim McManus's question at a press conference when Nick Sirianni couldn't explain after the 2023 season truly what he was now going to be responsible for.
I'm the head coach. That's basically all he said.
Little did we know it was going to end up in a Super Bowl.
Right.
And it did, because at that point it looked dark. But to me, I absolutely do not give him enough credit for what he's accomplished. And I think that I'm pretty much a supporter of Nick Sirianni. I never wanted him gone.
Right.
I always thought you got to stick behind this guy. But I get it. Like, it's hard because...
But here's the thing, John. I'll ask you. Like, when you say you don't think you give him enough credit, where should you give him more credit for?
I have watched, having done different jobs in media, I have done enough where I've been embedded with teams for a year, where I've been with them day in, day out. I know what a head coach has to, the crap that they have to deal with.
Right.
And stuff that they have to do, even though it wasn't football. I've never been embedded with a football team like that. I say to myself, it's a lot more than we think. It's not just X's and O's being a head coach.
Right. And I think that's what majority of people look at. They culture is a word that we just kind of throw out there, but there is something to it. And Nick Sirianni's built a damn good one.
He's a brilliant administrator of men. Here's what I'll say to you is, he is a great leader of men, which I think Rob Thompson is a great leader of men. Like, great. With a GR, great. But Rob Thompson and the other things that I want my manager to do leaves me wanting so much more. Whereas Nick Sirianni does not. Does not. Well, first off, I think it's a big thing when a head coach has an ego, because they all have egos.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm constantly going to give credit to Vic Fangio. I'm constantly going to give him the room to get things done. And maybe that comes from upstairs, that the directive came from upstairs. But to me, it makes me smile that this guy, he doesn't have an ego where he lets it get in the way.
Connor, do you believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough? And what is a fair appreciation for Sirianni?
It's a tough answer. I don't think I do, only because I was in the camp of get rid of him after 2023. Like, I tried to fire the guy that ended up winning the Super Bowl that season. I don't know that I can then follow that up by saying, yeah, I appreciate him fairly.
You didn't sound stupid, though.
Yeah, and by the way, you can change it. Like, look, nobody thought Nick Foles was going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like, ever. Nobody thought that. Even when he took over, nobody thought that.
Wait a minute, though. In the playoffs, many did.
Right.
Thought they'd win. Like when I say
when he took over that Raiders game, the Christmas Day, the last game against the season against the Cowboys, like nobody thought they were going to win the freaking Super Bowl.
I walked out of the building that night with the Raiders game going, that Christmas night Raiders game. Walked out of that building going, that was freaking horrendous.
You can be proven wrong and then have appreciation for it.
And it doesn't make your past opinion wrong. Like it's what happened is they changed their tactics.
Yeah.
They changed their performance. So you're not dumb for wanting the guy.
He had gone to a Super Bowl already.
Yeah, I think wanting the guy fired, was a little tough, a little rough. But I understood the sentiment.
Let me be stupid, John.
So
I usually do on a daily basis.
Do you believe that you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough with his 54-22 coaching record?
Oh, it's incredible.
2-time conference champion and Super Bowl champion. You can text in, call in 610-632-0975. John Kincade mentioned Nick Sirianni's record against some of the other top coaches in the NFC, against the beloved and respected coaches in the NFC.
There you go.
Hear those records coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic's Andrew DiCecco, the Philadelphia Inquirer's Jeff McClain, and ESPN's Tim McManus. The best.
Here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. So you just heard the little promo there, Middays with Marks, coming your way at 10 o'clock. Johnny Marks has another co-host today. Another blast from the past. Our man Sean Brace makes his return for today here on 97.5, The Fanatic. He will be co-hosting with Johnny Marks. This has been a fun week, right? We had All-Star Day on Tuesday. Even though Jason and Harry have been a part of the station recently, that was a cool day because I used to produce their show on the midday.
Right.
And back in the day, Johnny Marks and Sean Brace not only did Monday through Friday for 2 hours, they also did a Saturday morning show. And when I was first starting, I produced a couple of those shows. It's when I was training.
Was that Herding Cats?
No, those guys are the best. So Sean Brace is back. Now, quick story. It's not good. So when changes happen at the station, remember, we used to not have a morning show. We used to air Mike and Mike in the morning.
Right.
And then Anthony started the morning show, and here we are many years later. It's you and I doing the morning show. But when that happened, they had to make a few changes.
Okay.
Because instead of having the 2 midday shows, we went to 1 midday show from 10 to 2, instead of 10 to 12 and 12 to 2, because that was the original lineup. Originally, we had no mornings. 10 to 12 was a show, 12 to 2 was a show, 2 to 6.
2 to 6 was a show.
And unfortunately, when changes happen, people are no longer at the station, including Sean and Steve Vasilati, who was the producer of that show. And the three of them, Johnny Marks, Steve Vasilati, and Sean Brace, really took me under their wing when I was an intern and first got hired and first started.
Right.
When the change happened, I sent them an email, both Sean and Steve, and just expressing how disappointed I am with the decision and how I'm upset, and I probably said some other bad things. Not realizing that when a person no longer works at the station, the emails get forwarded to management.
Oh, my gosh, dude. Seriously?
I had no idea.
Well, wouldn't you think that if they're no longer employees, you're sending it to their employees?
I was 20 years old. I was not thinking about...
Well, they don't let you take your email with you. Just so you know, when you leave a company...
PSA for people.
Yes, don't send somebody on a company email. Did you not have their phone numbers?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, my gosh.
So the next day... I'm at work, and there's Nahagan.
Oh, geez. Who was your boss?
Yes. And Nahagan walks in, just looks at me. We good? And I'm like, what do you mean, we good? He goes, none. He just walks away, and I'm like, what is he saying? Because I had no idea.
Did he tell you later?
Later that night, there was an email sent, just a reminder.
From Matt.
To everybody. When stuff like this happens, emails get forwarded to me, and I was like,
of course they would.
Crap.
Gosh sakes.
And here I am 11 years
Oh, I want to
later.
know what you said. I really want to know.
Here I am. All right. So you heard us go into the break there. Nick Sirianni and his coaching record against some of the other top teams in the NFC. Well, you have it even broken down the AFC as well. Our question for you at 610-632-0975 is whether or not you yourself believe you appreciate Nick Sirianni enough. And it's crazy. 9-0 is the number you told us today against LaFleur, Dan Campbell, and Sean McVay. That's
it. I mean, that's right
ridiculous.
There. Right. That's the amazing number, and it's where you can't argue it. That is amazing. And those guys get many more bouquets thrown at their lap. Matt LaFleur constantly, Sean McVay. But I mean, Sean McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls and won 1, and been to another NFC title game.
Right.
Sean McVay's been a gold standard.
He's a hell of a coach, yeah.
But not McVay. But I mean, I believe LaFleur's lost 2 NFC title games at home.
Yes.
So I mean, LaFleur.
One was to the Garoppolo.
Now he could end up being, one was to Tom Brady, I think, and Tampa.
Yeah.
And I think one was to
Garoppolo.
Garoppolo.
The Niners.
Now
yeah.
the thing is, he could end up being Andy Reid one day. Like one day,
sure,
LaFleur may put it all together and do that. But until he does, I'm tired of the bouquets.
Oh, it's all because they call their offenses. Now, what do we got on the text line when it comes to Sirianni, Connor?
All right, so we have a check-in from way back earlier on in the show, but because we just did our re-rack, it's pertinent again, where Media Joe checks in, says there's certainly something to the super team analogy that you guys talked about earlier with Nick. John, you often use the analogy with the Lamborghini when you talk about Kevin Patullo. If they've got a Lamborghini, isn't that essentially saying that they have a super team?
They have a great team of talent, and there are a lot of great teams like the Buffalo Bills that don't win a damn thing, that never even can get to a Super Bowl, that can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Last time I looked, the last 3 times that Jalen Hurts has played Patrick Mahomes, he's walked off the winner. And you could argue that the 4th time in that string, in that Super Bowl, he puts a ball off his knee.
Right.
And that's the only reason the Eagles lost that game. They lost by 3. I mean, they gave away 7 points. To me, there's a huge difference between. There are a lot of great teams.
By the way, the Lions have
gotta win.
The Lions have a super team.
Yeah, you got to
right?
win.
Like the Lions, when healthy, right? That was their biggest problem last year. One of the top offensive lines in football. The great weapons in Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, 2 great backs. They're both, a quarterback that I think is skill set's different, but comparable to Jalen Hurts.
More importantly, the guy who drives the Lamborghini is Nick Sirianni. And unlike Sean McDermott, he doesn't crash it into the side of I-76. He actually drives it home and actually gets them to parades.
Right.
There's a big difference.
All right, coming up next. Speaking of records. Oh, Johnny, your brain confuses me sometimes. Hear what John...
Sometimes?
All the time. Hear what John Kincade wants removed from the link.
It's time for it to go.
We do that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Tough night in Cleveland. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Sixers fell to the Cavs last night, 131. Yes, on the back end of a back-to-back in Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell put up 46 for the Cavs, and the Sixers on the back end of a back-to-back did not get the job done, but they'll get some much-needed rest at least. They're off until Saturday. MLB free agency gets going today. Phillies had a bit of news already. Harrison Bader declined his club option or his mutual option with the team, so he's a free agent. The Phillies exercised a club option on Jose Alvarado. That's worth $9 million, so the reliever will be back for 2026. Todd Zalecki of MLB.com joined Middays with Marks yesterday. Talked about some of the big-name free agents for the Phils, including Kyle Schwarber.
You have teammates that want him back. The manager wants him back. The front office wants him back. The owner wants him back. They all see the value there. And so, yeah, I could see a 5-year deal, $150 million for Kyle Schwarber.
Eagles are back to work today ahead of their Monday night matchup with the Packers. Nick Sirianni meets with media at 12:10. Flyers are back on the ice tonight in Nashville versus the Predators. An 8 p.m. puck drop. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. And don't miss coming up at 9:40. Head coach Adam Fisher of Temple men's basketball will join the show. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Looking for an exceptional driving experience? Experience the power, precision, and intelligence of an iconic Mercedes-Benz SUV at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade.
and learn something new.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers.
Couple of things. You get some things out
I
of the
knew
way.
you and Connor would hate this one. I don't know if Connor hates this one.
I might opt out of this conversation so I don't have an aneurysm.
All right, check out the Fanatic deal of the week. Buy one ticket for Island Water Park in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Get one free. If you're already missing the warm weather, get to America's largest indoor beachfront water park. Love that. Enjoy epic slides, a relaxing lazy river, an indoor surf simulator, and more. Get this deal now through Sunday while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. Of course, Brigantine right next door. So maybe that's something I could purchase and take Coop to.
And then Coop would enjoy it. And all year long, right?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would absolutely love that.
Great.
One other thing. I was walking my neighborhood yesterday, as I usually do. With the
Have
with,
the Halloween decorations
the
come
pup.
down?
Yes, and one house already decked out.
No.
Yes.
No.
I saw through the window a Christmas tree.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, the inside, not the outside.
And they had the what are those? Not
Wreaths?
the wreaths, not the circular ones. What are the other ones with the bow?
What?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's kind. It looks like a wreath, but it's not. Like it's another thing. They put the bows with the fake.
They put the bows on the pillars.
Yeah.
Like Christina puts bows on the pillars of the porch.
The only thing that's missing outside is the lights, but they've already.
Oh, come on.
It's November the 6th, which means this was at least November the 5th. I only noticed it yesterday. Could have happened before.
That's crazy.
And on November 1st, I had to stop at Target.
Why?
Coop, yogurt, smoothies,
Okay.
all this kind of stuff.
And what was there?
Well, the weather outside is
no.
frightful. Which, by the way, you can't play that song when the weather outside is not frightful. Like the
You can't do that.
weather's still nice.
Wait a minute. They're
Frightful to
playing
me.
Christmas music on November 1st?
Yes.
In the store.
They flipped it. Target has on November 1st. Target already flipped the Christmas music.
That's crazy.
And but here's the
It
deal.
takes away the special nature of it.
You can't play some of these songs. Like it was 68 degrees yesterday. I'm sweating my
The
what
weather
song
ain't
yesterday.
frightful.
Like, come on, man.
It's going to be 68 on Saturday.
Here's the problem. Doing the Christmas music on November 1st makes me hate it come December 1st.
It takes the specialness away from the event. For God's sakes.
Now, the only reason why we do Christmas pre-December 1 is because on Christy's birthday, which is November 24th, her favorite thing to do is decorate.
Well, then that's fine. It's her thing. I don't think November 24th is any kind of violation.
No,
that's
no.
not. And some people like to have, I don't understand it, but like Christina does the day after. Black Friday is when our house gets
Sure,
decorated.
yeah. Now-
And I will come home from work. It will be decorated pretty much. Well, now maybe as she stumbles around, recovering from her broken leg,
Yeah.
she will not be on any ladders.
Now,
But,
this is an interesting take, but I'm sorry, it's for the love of the game. All right. Unoriginal name on YouTube says, Chunas, have you put lights up when it's 65? And have you also put up lights when it's 25? Just curious which one you enjoy more. Yeah, I put up the lights when it's freezing cold outside for the love of the game. I cannot, just because it's 68 degrees yesterday doesn't mean this is a good day to put up Christmas lights on November 5th.
And don't subject your neighbors to your Christmas display, how many weeks early.
Let's get to Thanksgiving first.
How about this? Do what I do. Don't decorate.
Don't decorate. We have an apartment. It's a lot easier to do that.
Yeah,
do you decorate? Do you do anything in your apartment? My guess is no.
Not for a single holiday ever, and never will I ever.
Never?
Never.
You will.
You will
No,
one
I will
day.
not.
You will one day.
I will say, Jimmy, my buddy Jimmy, when we lived together, we got we bought a fake mini tree, and we put the most random stuff on it, including like beer cans.
That's fun.
Just to at least be like, look.
That's fun.
We have a Christmas tree in the house.
One more thing for me to clean up. No, thank you.
All right. John, what do you want removed from the link, you psychopath?
Okay, I'm going to ask you guys a question first to set this up for the audience. If I was to say to you that in the NFL, the Steelers, the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Chiefs are the marquee franchises in the history of the sport.
Sure.
As far as the winningest,
yeah,
they're the Super Bowl winningest. They're the teams that do that. Yeah. So we agree on the premise, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what they don't do?
What don't they do, John?
They don't have a banner hanging for winning divisions. And that's, by the way, the majority of teams in the NFL. The majority, more than half, do not display division-winning banners. I would like the link to take the division-winning banners down, because we are now to the point where this team has played enough in enough has won enough NFC championships that they just display banner for NFC championships and Super Bowl. That's it. You're the NFC champion banner or you're a Super Bowl champion banner. We don't need to celebrate division titles. We used to hang banners here for it. By the way, the vast majority, I think it's 19 by the number that I researched, 19 of 32 teams do not have any kind of banner for a division title. Some will have a banner that says division champions, and then they'll put the year on it.
Okay.
So they'll have one banner that hangs somewhere, but it doesn't hang with their championship banners.
All right. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
All right, because
if you ask me the question I think you're going to ask me, I have no answer.
Why does it bother you?
That's the question. I don't
that's my legitimate question.
I don't. It's the same thing with the Phillies having that stupid wild card.
Okay, I agree with you.
Okay.
Reaching a wild card does not deserve
winning a division
banner.
in football does not either.
Well,
the franchise.
This NFC East, by the way, where you have not had back-to-back winners in 21 years, me, that is you can make the case that it's very impressive to win the NFC East, considering the parity that this division has had. But honestly, if I go to the link, right, when I go to see the Temple Owls play,
right,
and the very limited times that I go to see the Philadelphia Eagles play, my first thing that I do when I sit down in my seat is not look up at the banners. The first thing I do is scan my section. Where am I getting my beer?
Okay,
where am I going to the bathroom?
That's fine.
Kickoff is happening. I'm watching the game.
I scan the banners every time I'm ever in the building. I love seeing the banners because to me it is a celebration of being a fan for a team that long.
Well, yeah.
I don't need to celebrate division titles under Buddy Ryan. I don't need to have that because it's not what most big league franchises do.
Sure, and
we did it because we had nothing else. There was a time where you had nothing else.
All right, well, then let me ask you something. What about this kind of goes back to the championships discussion, the pre-Super Bowl era?
They should be up.
All right, because Green Bay has all that stuff.
And they should, because the Eagles should have 1959 and 1960, which they do, because that's part of their franchise. Championship or conference championship only. Division title, go. We don't act big league. Act big league, and there was a time where that was all we had.
Winning a division is big league. Now, look, there are teams that have won their division with 7 wins. I get that.
It's not really a big league accomplishment.
I remember when the Seahawks did that, but I don't know.
When there's 4 teams in a division, it's not a big deal to win your division.
So you mentioned the Cowboys, right, and the fact that they don't do it. Well, what do the Cowboys win anymore? Nothing. I don't know. I celebrate any sort of feat in sports.
I got you.
Winning a division is an impressive feat, regardless of year. Even if you win,
is it going to be impressive this year? I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Really? The Cowboys, right now, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants Cowboys are 11th in the conference, Commanders are 14th, Giants are 15th. Is it going to be impressive when all you had to do was be the 10th best team right now? That's not impressive. And you're going to hang a banner for it? Let's say that's all they do this year. They win the division?
No,
they would. Because next year, if they win the division,
they will put
and then they lose in the playoffs, they don't go to the Super Bowl.
But you know what they don't do, John? They don't do banner night, right? It's there.
No, they unveil the banner. They've unveiled those banners. They absolutely have unveiled those banners.
So I'll tell you this: if they win the division but lose in the first round of the playoffs, I cannot imagine that week 1 or week 2, whenever their first home game is next year, they're going to be like,
"See, now you don't want
attention.
Now you don't want it because you agree. You don't want it. You don't want to call attention to it.
No, but I'm
we
still
have no issue with the
celebrating.
banner. We just don't need them.
But
to
they
make
have
big
unfurled
pomp and
they have
circumstance.
uncovered the banner before.
Like I remember
that for
when
anything besides the Super Bowl.
I remember when the Phillies won the National League pennant and obviously lost the World Series to the Houston Astros. The next year they rose the banner, right?
Right.
But the year they won the wild card, when was it they won the wild card but didn't win? Is that the Mets? No, they won the division. Whatever.
Right.
They didn't do the whole now pay attention.
But it was there.
It was there.
But it was there.
And that's fine because they won the division.
See, I don't think it's if you win the like the wild card thing sucked. We didn't like that. It is it's not that you wouldn't if you don't want a banner right next to the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year. So next year when you go into the link, you'll be cool to see a banner that says 2025 NFC East champions. Like it's like 2025 NFC East champions.
I would hang it just like I would hang an American Conference banner, Johnny.
Well, I would hang
if
that.
Temple.
No, they win a conference. I would. You win the conference, you hang a banner. You don't hang it for if you won the American Conference East. If there was East and West.
Well, joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. It is Big 5 Day, Johnny. It's Spirit Day. You and I rocking our Temple gear.
We only wanted one guest, though.
We only wanted
bad?
one. No, it's not bad.
Is that bad?
They took down the Fighting Hornets last night of Delaware State. The Temple Owls start their season 1-0, winning 83-65 last night. And joining us to celebrate it, the head coach of the Temple Owls, Adam Fisher, joins us. Adam, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Doing great. Love talking to Temple alums. Nothing better after a win.
And Coach, we only requested one coach to come on with us today. We're being honest. We said
I know there's mutual respect between you and some of the other coaches in the Big 5, but let's face it,
not with us.
You know, we're T for Temple.
We don't have to play that game at all. I mean, not at all.
I saw John in the Temple hoodie. He's ready to go. I love it.
There you go.
So night one last night, you got the win over Delaware State. Another year you had being the head coach of the Temple Owls. What are some things you're expecting to see this year? I know you got some new faces, some new starters this year. What are you excited about with your squad this year?
You know, some I think is an understatement, right? 11 new guys. Excited to see us build as the year goes. And I think we've gotten so much better. You start this in June. It was great to play an opponent last night. We got a lot to clean up. But I think, when you play two close scrimmages, it's the first time for all the guys playing in the Leah Core Center under the bright light. So you get some nerves. But I'm excited. This group is hungry. They have one mission. They want to win. They want to celebrate each other's success out there. So we're excited. We think we got a great team with a lot of good pieces, and we just want to keep building it each week and get better and better.
Coach, you coached as an assistant over the years in the non-NIL era. You now have to maneuver the NIL era. How more difficult is the job of head coaches in college sports?
I don't know if it's more difficult. I think it's changed, right? So, I talk all the time about Lonnie Walker, young man from Reading, Pennsylvania. We recruited him at the University of Miami for over 2.5 years. You got to know everybody in Reading, the barber, where to go eat, a sneaker plug, the guidance counselor, you name it. You spent all day in Reading. Now it's kind of like speed dating a little bit in the portal. You kind of got to get to know guys quick, do as much homework as you can. Are they a good fit? And what's really changed is you got to fundraise. As much as you got to recruit, like my job has turned into a fundraiser. As many days as I'm recruiting, it's the same days as fundraising. Because you want to build that competitive roster. And right now, you hate to say it, but money comes up, and it comes up early when you're talking to people about recruiting. So, I think it's changed a lot, and it's been a change for us. You become a head coach, a GM, your assistants do the same thing. So I think it's different, but we're here to embrace it. We know it's here. We're trying to figure out still the right fit. As you both know, Temple's a special and unique place, right? Like it's an awesome place. It's a great city to be in. Campus is awesome. So I think we just trying to get people to campus. When we get people to campus, they're kind of like, wow, this is pretty cool. I just thought it was on the street. Now you go back, on North Broad Street. Now you go back, there's a huge campus area, a lot of food places. It's a lot of fun.
So I know you have 11 new players this year. Obviously, transfer portal, big part of it. But you also had one player go to the NBA, Steve Settle, sign with the Heat. I know he's got a two-way contract. They have not started their G League schedule yet. I don't think they start until tomorrow. But Steve Settle, a player that has made it to the big leagues, how much does that mean to you as the head coach of somebody that played for Temple, making it and signing a deal with an NBA squad?
What it means to me is I'm just so happy for Steve and his family. He was one of the guys early on to come here after having a great career at Howard. And this is a guy who just got better and put in the work. So when I see a guy make it, I'm just so happy for them and their family. I think about the Settles and how many hours you sacrifice driving your son and having multiple children all over to AAU and practices and this and that. And then their son gets a chance to be in the NBA. So, I'm just happy for him. I got to see him in Vegas. I went out there for Summer League for 2 nights. We had dinner together. It was a lot of fun to catch up with him. So we're super proud of him. And, Jamal Mashburn Jr. got drafted in the G League draft as well. And I think I read he got traded too, but I talked to him when he got drafted. He called me and texted right away. And that pure excitement, that's what excites you as a coach. Seeing your student athletes reach their dreams and the joy they have is something that you'll never be able to take away.
Well, Coach, you have Andrew and I.
Yes.
You have us. You got 2 guys that are right there with you.
I still have eligibility, by the way.
You don't want mine. You don't want mine.
John, can you give me 5 fouls? John,
I could give you 5 fouls easily.
I could be the guy on the end of the bench waving the towel.
Oh, you could be. He'd be a good Wojo.
Yeah,
Salciunas would be a great.
And plus,
Wojo.
Salciunas, you need a Lithuanian. You need an Eastern European guy on
that
your
could
roster.
help with recruiting, Coach. That could help with recruiting.
Listen,
thanks, Coach.
Congratulations on your win last night. Year 3 as the head coach.
We're going to take you to
Temple
lunch
Owls.
at
That's
Maxie's.
amazing. Yeah,
one day.
so we can get a beer again.
We'd love to have you guys at practice. Whenever you want to come,
we'd love it.
2 unbelievable alums. What you do, the city and all the sports coverage is unbelievable. So we'd love to have you back anytime you want.
Good.
Just come to practice. Just
We'll reach
out. We got you.
You're the man. Thanks, Coach.
Coach.
And have a good season this
all
year.
right.
Good luck. Good health.
See you guys. Thank you.
Good health.
There he is, Adam Fisher on the Comcast Business Hotline. Go Owls.
We invited no other coaches on today.
No. We invited the mascots.
Yeah, we invited all the mascots in.
But that was about it.
Connor wanted a Division III coach to come in just to balance it out for his part of the show, but we said no. No Division III coaches were allowed in.
I'd allow it.
That's okay. It's about you guys today.
Coming up next.
It's your guys' event.
Is there a change of control in a division in the NFL? Big Thursday night game tonight. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia Union. Here we go.
before we talk a little bit about tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, as we begin Week 10 in the NFL. Eagles, of course, 6-2. They begin their Week 10 Monday night against the Green Bay Packers. Really sad news that just hit the sporting world. Marshawn Nealon, who's a defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, passed away last night, just 24 years old. It was announced by the team that Marshawn Nealon tragically passed away this morning. Marshawn was a beloved teammate and member of our organization. Our thoughts and prayers regarding Marshawn are with his girlfriend, Catalina, and his family. Nealon actually just recovered a blocked punt Monday night against the Cardinals when the Cardinals and Cowboys played. He recovered the blocked punt in the end zone for a touchdown. So just that happened on Monday night, and it was overnight where Marshawn Nealon tragically passed away.
Terrible.
That's horrible. Just 24 years old.
That's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It's just for the young man.
The statement from his agent, Jonathan Persley: I am shattered to confirm that my client and dearest friend Marshawn Nealon passed away last night. I watched him fight his way from a hopeful kid at Western Michigan with a dream to being a respected professional for the Dallas Cowboys. Marshawn poured his heart into every snap, every practice, and every moment on the field. To lose someone with his talent, spirit, and goodness is a pain I can hardly put into words. My heart aches for his family, his teammates, and everyone who loved him, and I hope they feel the support of the entire football community during this unimaginable time.
That is horrible.
I ask that you please give his loved ones this privacy and compassion they need as they grieve this tremendous loss. So Marshawn Nealon,
Terrible.
At the age of 24. That's horrible, horrible news.
To just bring it to a different topic, a text that I got in the show. I missed it. We were probably when we were at Temple, but I just found this text. That I've been hearing a lot about, that there could be, the Mets could have an interest in Ranger Suarez.
Okay.
I can tell you that a very well-placed source tells me the Braves will be in on Ranger Suarez.
Sure.
And
look, he's a hell of a pitcher, man.
And the Braves just hired 2 Mets coaches, ex-Mets coaches. And there's speculation that they will go try to get Pete Alonso. 2.
Who?
The
Braves want Pete Alonso and
they could, but that Ranger Suarez, they're in on Ranger Suarez.
Yeah,
I think they get Ranger Suarez and Pete Alonso. They're even more because the Braves have the best team.
Yeah, one thing to point out, I've been thinking about this a lot recently. It's amazing you bring it up. Like I was going for a walk a couple days ago, and for the people that did the whole Phillies are right there with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the Braves were dealing with injuries.
I mean, terrible injuries.
All year.
They were favored to win the division at the start of the season.
Yeah, they were. And that was with Strider and Acuna missing the beginning of the season. But
thinking that they could
They lost Smith-Shawver. They lost Iglesias, right?
They lost everybody. And if they played for the Braves, they got hurt.
They took Chris Sale's $18 million, but this person telling me that Ranger Suarez,
keep an eye.
They will absolutely be in on kicking those tires and finding out how much it costs. So there's 2 teams in the division that want to get Ranger. That'll be hard. Ranger Suarez not being here will be hard.
Yeah, it's going to suck, period. But if he's playing for the Mets,
if you had to face Ranger Suarez 4 or 5 times a year, wow, that would suck.
By the way, I saw this yesterday from John Morosi.
Uh-huh.
It pissed me off so much.
Morosi does? Or
no, not him. His report. He could easily see an Angels-Phillies move that involves either Taylor Ward or Joe Adele to the Phillies.
I like Taylor Ward.
Yeah, remember when we were saying that at the trade deadline that the Phillies should get after one of those guys, and the Angels were buyers at the trade deadline when they were 53 and 56?
So you're saying that it could have been...
This could have happened, during the season when they needed a right-handed power bat to protect Bryce Harper in the lineup. The Angels were 53 and 56 the day of the trade deadline.
What happened afterwards?
They finished 72 and 90.
Oh, my gosh, they won 19 games. That's here's the one thing.
Horrible. 19 and 24.
Not to derail this. I'm sorry to derail the segment quickly. But I don't think you can make you can't make a deal do you have to move talent out before you make a deal or you lose your leverage? So you have to move guys like Bohm out, Marsh out, things like that before if you're going to get, we're going to go get a third baseman. Bohm can't be on the roster when you go and sign Bregman.
You try to sign Bregman.
Not so much for the outfield because you have multiple spots.
Right.
But for corner infield, absolutely.
So I'm wondering now when the 5 o'clock deadline comes, and I know that they're going to be all over it today on Unfiltered. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's if anybody signs. Baseball,
I have a feeling, I don't think it's going to happen at 5. It's not NFL.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to start to hear by tomorrow morning, we're going to hear things.
Yeah, there's going to be
Phillies
more smoke.
First signing last year was Jordan Romano on December 9th. You
Right.
might have a little bit of time.
And that was at
Phillies
the
fans.
that was at the owners' meeting.
All right,
That one
yes,
really
he's
worked.
not.
That was
really worked out
that
for
was
them,
at the
so.
winter meetings, I believe. So I mean, there's a lot of that going on. So
All right, tonight we have the Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos could very well win tonight, right? They're 8.5-point favorites.
could very well win. They better win.
they're
I have them as
8.5-point
number
favorites.
one in my confidence pool this week.
They should win.
Are they going to win that division? They're 7-2. They win tonight, they'd be 8-2. The Chiefs. Not saying the Chiefs won't win.
Chiefs
in the
have 4
playoffs.
losses.
Chiefs are 5-4.
Right.
Is
No, they
this
could
the
win the
year we
division.
see a different division winner in the AFC West?
Could happen. I had the Chargers winning that division before the year. What's Chargers' record?
6-3. So they're right behind them.
I had the Chargers winning in our preseason picks, and it would shock me if Denver won. But and now you're going to be dealing with one of your best players with Denver.
Here's the big thing for Kansas City to still try to win the division. They still play each other both times. Broncos have not played each other yet. So you have Broncos rest of the way, Raiders tonight, then it's Chiefs, Commanders, Raiders, Packers, Jags, Chiefs, Chargers.
Yeah, I think
so
Denver's
that's a pretty tough
I don't
second
think
half.
Denver wins the division. I think Chargers or Chiefs win the division.
And I don't think the Chiefs care as much as those other two
No,
teams.
yeah.
They don't.
They just want to get to the playoffs.
Thing is, I
What
want to
you're
get
building with Mahomes.
I want to
and
go home
and beat
though.
your ass.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got for
FT
Lifesaving
Young
Kansas?
Heating and Air Conditioning. That's what I have for it. They made a donation to the AACR, and you can too, the American Association for Cancer Research. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof. Hopefully it'll help in my drives today. Cancer research saves lives.
Damn right. Trying to think, man. I think the Broncos win it.
I think they should win it.
No, the division.
Oh, you think they win the division? I do not.
Are you a believer all of a sudden?
Well,
Going in, the water
he liked Bo. You not as much
No,
as
not
you.
as you. No, I'm a Bo. Their defense is really good, a lever.
That doesn't fit as well.
because their defense is really freaking good.
Yeah, their defense is.
I mean,
their defense is elite.
they're a top 5 defense in the NFL, and they're going to win a lot of games playing Sean Payton style of offense.
It works
while having a really, really good defense. All right, so coming up next, it is Middays with Marks. Johnny Marks in the house with Ray Dunn, or as John sometimes calls him, Ray Diggity Dunn. But they also have Sean Brace. So Sean Brace returns to the hallways here of One Ballot Plaza. So
Did his key card work?
Middays with Marks. Sean Brace, does he have a skull shaver with him in hand? I need